Neon lights snake like blood veins among high-rise buildings. And the dazzling pinks, blues and purples intertwine into a net that wraps the entire city breathlessly. Shen Qingqing rubbed her sore eyes and walked out of the company building. It was already 11 o'clock in the night. She is an ordinary white-collar worker in this steel jungle. She is 25 years old, working 9 to 5, with a monthly salary of 8,000. She rents in an old community, squeezes into the subway every day, and dreams of one day getting promoted and getting a raise, and having a big room filled with green plants. But tonight everything changed. Qingqing, are you leaving? The perverted boss made us work overtime until we vomited blood again. The voice of my colleague Xiao came from behind. He is a newcomer in the department in his early 20s, always complaining, and the pimple-shaped smile on his face is annoying to look at. Shen Qingqing smiled and shook his head. You go ahead. I'll wait for the elevator. Remember not to go to the internet cafe all night again, or you will be scolded for being late for the meeting tomorrow. Xiao shrugged, waved goodbye, and dragged his tired body towards the parking lot. Shen Qingqing was leaning against the elevator door, scrolling through her cell phone. Her circle of friends was filled with photos of her best friend Bai Ning showing off her wealth. That girl had a company at home and was very quirky. She had loved to drag her shopping to buy bags since she was a child, always saying, Qingqing, if you work so hard, you will exhaust yourself to death sooner or later. She smiled bitterly and was about to reply to the message when she heard a muffled sound from the direction of the parking lot, like a heavy object falling to the ground. Hello? Xiao. She called out, but there was no response. Out of curiosity, she walked over quickly. The dim lights in the parking lot lengthened her shadow, and the air was filled with a damp, musty smell and a touch of blood. Turning around a row of SUVs, she froze. Xiao fell to the ground, with a strange scratch on his neck, blood gushing, his eyes wide open, and something flickering in his pupils. It's not a figure, it's a black mist? Ah! Shen Qingqing screamed, instinctively retreating and staggering. Her mind was buzzing. This was not a hallucination. The black mist twisted like a living thing, sprang out from Xiao and rushed towards her. The cold wind blew against her face, mixed with the stench of decay. She felt like her skin was pricked by needles and her whole body felt weak. Help! What the hell is this? There was no one around, and the hustle and bustle of the city seemed to be cut off. She dialed 120, but her phone suddenly died. The black mist was getting closer and closer, and a twisted grimace faintly appeared inside. Green eyes stared at her and he let out a low roar. Blood, blood! Shen Qingqing was desperate. She was an ordinary girl who didn't even bring anti-wolf spray. How could she fight against this thing? She fell to the ground, her vision blurred by tears, thinking, it's over, this time I'm really going to die in this shabby parking lot, and turn into a corpse like Xiao. Tomorrow the news will say white-collar workers mysteriously disappeared. Just when the black mist opened its bloody mouth and was about to swallow her, a searing heat shot up from her heart. As if being burned by fire, she felt severe pain in her chest. In her blurred vision, an ancient jade pendant, a relic left by her grandmother, slipped out from her collar, emitting a dazzling golden light. The jade pendant shattered, and countless runes penetrated into her body like smoke. She felt that her meridians were being torn and reshaped. The blood all over her body was churning, and the power was like a flood bursting a bank. Ah! She roared in pain, her eyes turned blood red, the air waves around her body surged, and the black mist was pushed back several meters. The ghostly face let out a sharp scream, twisting and struggling. Cultivation! Cultivation of immortal bloodline? Impossible! How can there be a pure-blood descendant in this city? Shen Qingqing stood up with a gasp, and a massive amount of information poured into his mind. The ancestral cultivation of immortal bloodline has awakened. This world is not ordinary. The forces of immortality are hidden. The ghost town has supernatural powers originating from ancient enchantments. Evil spirits are rampant. The ground beneath her feet cracked, and a blue crack opened. She slipped and fell into it. The world around me was spinning, the wind was howling in my ears, and the scenery in front of me was distorted, changing from modern high-rise buildings to the ruins of an ancient city. The mist is thick, the broken tower is tilted, the blue stone is covered with moss, and the air is filled with ancient aura. She fell to the ground, and when she got up, She was surrounded by ghostly shadows wandering around. The ruins of the ancient city. Is this the legendary ghost town barrier? New blood. Haha, just in time. A low voice came from the fog, and an old man in black robe walked out slowly. He had a childlike face with white hair, eyes as deep as stars, and a faint glow of talismans all over his body. He was Mo Fan, the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Shen Qingqing retreated cautiously. Who are you? Where are you? Mo Fan smiled, waved his sleeves, and the surrounding shadows dispersed. Little girl, congratulations. You accidentally entered the boundary of the ghost city and awakened your bloodline. This is an ancient forbidden land for cultivating immortals. Immortal cultivators hidden in the city fight secretly. Evil spirits are rampant in the ghost city, and the Chamber of Commerce controls the circulation of magical weapons. Want to survive? Sign the divine contract. A golden contract, the soul contract, appeared in his palm. After signing, you will receive the initial magical weapon in exchange for power. Shen Qingqing gritted her teeth. She felt the blood in her body was turbulent, and ghosts were coming from all directions. Those little ghosts were sinister and had sharp claws. Black Mist was one of them before. She had no choice. Sign. How to sign? Appreciation flashed in Mo Fan's eyes. Recognize the owner with a drop of blood. She bit her finger, and the blood dropped into the contract, and the golden light shined straight into the center of her eyebrows. In an instant, a crystal-clear light sword appeared in her hand. The sword's body emitted colorful light, and the sword roared like a dragon's roar. She felt her strength surge, her meridians widen, and her cultivation reached the early stage of foundation building. Haha, the spiritual light sword. This is the top initial magic weapon of the Chamber of Commerce. Mo Fan's voice trembled slightly, and his eyes were full of surprise. Girl, your blood is pure, and the compatibility is 90%. The children of the immortal cultivating family signed only 70%. The little ghosts had already rushed towards them, and the leader of the bull-headed ghost roared, Human race, take your life. The claws were like knives tearing the air. Shen Qingqing's heart sank. She had never fought before, but she instinctively swung the sword in her hand. The aura sword erupted with sword light, sweeping hundreds of feet of light. With a pop, the Minotaur's head flew up, and its body turned into black smoke and dissipated. The kid around them was stunned and screamed in disbelief. How is it possible? This sword. A full blow of the spiritual light sword? What kind of monster is she? Shen Qingqing was stunned for a moment, and then ecstasy filled her heart. Strength. Is this the power of cultivating immortality? She laughed loudly. The sword light spread across the sky, and the sword energy was like a rainbow. Every time the sword fell, a group of imps were wiped out in ashes. In the mist, the remaining ghosts trembled and retreated. Their green eyes widened, and their voices trembled. Back! This woman is a monster. The sword is psychic, and the blood suppresses us. A ghost soldier knelt on the ground, kowtowing like garlic. Spare your life. Spare your life. Mo Fan was stunned, his hands trembled slightly, and he murmured, Oh my God! I have extraordinary talent. I have seen countless signers, and no one can kill the Minotaur with the first sword. This sword energy is pure and flawless. She is a natural swordsman. Enthusiasm flashed in his eyes. If this girl grows up, she will definitely overturn the urban immortal cultivation pattern. Those opponents of the Chamber of Commerce and Han Xiao's careerists will all have to kneel down. Shen Qingqing sheathed her sword. Her breath was steady, and she glanced around with disdain. Those brats were like ants, and the despair just now disappeared. She felt like she was overlooking the mortal world. The powerful and rich second generation in the city, weren't they just ants in front of this spiritual light sword? It's cool. This is called life. Mo Fan took a deep breath, stepped forward and handed out a jade slip fragment. The divine agreement has been fulfilled. This is a fragment of the map of the cave. It contains the supreme secret treasure, ancient magic weapons and elixirs. Unlock the cave and change your life. But be careful, the supernatural pursuit is coming. Han Xiao has set his sights on you. He controls most of the evil spirits in the ghost city, and is ambitious and wants to monopolize the treasure. Urban immortal cultivators are fighting secretly, and business wars between chambers of commerce are intertwined with supernatural phenomena. You have to be quick. Shen Qingqing took the jade slip, penetrated with his spiritual consciousness, and a map appeared pointing to the location of Bai Ning's family in the modern city. She was shocked. Bai Ning? How could there be fragments in her home? Is she also involved in this ghost town whirlpool? Mo Fan's expression suddenly changed. No. The map resonates. The supernatural army is coming. Listen, the footsteps. In the distance at the end of the ancient city, black clouds rolled, and countless ghosts roared. A giant ghost in the lead smiled sinisterly. Shen Qingqing, hand over the map. Your best friend Bai Ning is already in my palm. Bai Ning. You said she is in your palm? Fart. Shen Qingqing roared. The immortal blood in his body boiled, and the spiritual power in the early stage of foundation building erupted like a volcano. She swung her sword across, and the sword light exploded, cutting off the limbs of more than a dozen little ghosts. Black smoke flew everywhere, but the giant ghost laughed, threw out the chain, and turned into a 100-meter-long whip, making the air crackle. She was unable to dodge, and the shadow of the whip grazed her shoulder. Her clothes were torn, blood seeped out, and the pain penetrated her bones. Mo Fan's face was livid, his sleeves and robes were bulging, and he threw a talisman to explode the light curtain, barely blocking the subsequent wave of ghosts. Girl, hold on. This is Han Xiao's blood soul chain, the peak power of foundation building. You are newly awakened. If you fight hard, you will die. Shen Qingqing held the aura sword tightly, the sword buzzed and trembled, the colorful light coiled like a dragon, and her heartbeat roared like a war drum. Black clouds were pressing down on the top, and the wind was howling on the bluestone of the ruins of the ancient city. Countless ghosts were coming like a tide. The giant ghost at the head was 3 feet tall with horns like hooks. It spewed out a foul-smelling black mist from its bloody mouth. The chains around it jingled, and with every step spiderweb-like gaps opened in the ground. Those little devils screamed and pounced. Their claw shadows were like rain, and their chi condensed into ice blades, piercing her forehead. Boom! As soon as the sword thrust out, the sky and the earth turned pale, and a golden crack opened in the sky above the ancient city. The sword energy was like a tornado, swallowing up the giant ghost chain. The giant ghost's green eyes widened, and its huge body was pierced by the sword light, and it let out a shocking scream. This sword intention. Pureblood swordsman? Lord Han Xiao save. Before he could finish his words, it exploded into black mist, and the remaining ghost figures scattered like frightened birds and beasts, and the screams echoed. Monster! Sword immortal turn sure. Run away. Mo Fan's eyes were bulging, his hair was trembling, and his voice was trembling. Oh my God! I have lived for 300 years and I have never seen a new person with this power. No, 100%. Shen Qingqing had no time to be ecstatic. The rift had already opened. She held on to Mo Fan and jumped in. Let's go. The sky was spinning, the whispers of the wind were getting further away, and the scenery in front of her was distorted, changing from the broken walls of the ancient city back to modern neon lights. With a thud, she fell in a familiar parking lot. Xiao Li's body was gone, leaving only bloodstains. A cordon was set up around the area, and several policemen murmured under the flashlight. Another missing case. What happened to this city? Mo Fan's figure faded and said through the voice. I will go back to the Chamber of Commerce to make arrangements. You go to Bai Ning's house with the jade slip. Han Xiao will not give up. Remember, God has promised to protect you. But the supernatural pursuit is coming. Despair surged like a tide. Shen Qingqing gritted her teeth and gasped. The ghosts around her became denser and denser. Energy eroded her meridians, and the aura sword dimmed slightly. The neon lights of the city, the smiling face of Bai Ning, and Xiao Li's body flashed through her mind. She couldn't just fall down like this. Go away. She growled, and her spiritual consciousness suddenly poured into the jade slip fragments. The golden light of the cave map shone, and it actually resonated with the aura sword. The sword body erupted with unparalleled sword intent, soaring straight into the sky. The morning sun was dazzling. Shen Qingqing dragged her tired body onto the subway. Her phone buzzed and vibrated. It was already 8:30 in the morning. Company news bombshell. Manager Li's voice was full of impatience. Shen Qingqing, you are 2 hours late. Where did you go after working overtime last night? Your full attendance will be deducted, and your monthly salary will be halved. Come to the company to explain. She sneered, the spiritual power in her body was flowing, and the wound had healed as before. In the past she would bow her head, but now? Those mortal nobles are no more than ants in front of the spiritual light sword. The glass curtain wall of the company building reflected the morning light, and colleagues in the elevator whispered. I heard that Xiaoli was missing, and there were bloodstains all over the parking lot. The news was reported. Shen Qingqing was there last night, right? Where is she? No way. Shen Qingqing opened the door and entered the office, and it was as quiet as death for an instant. There is a strange chill in the air. The computer screen flickers with ghostly shadows, the file cabinet emits a low murmur, and the lights flicker on and off, the supernatural aftermath. The energy of those little ghosts left behind along the barrier and sneaked into the city, specifically targeting her pure blood. Manager Li is in his early 50s, with a greasy bald head and a wrinkled suit. He is domineering in the company because he is a relative of the boss. He raised his head from behind the desk and glanced at Shen Qingqing with squinted eyes. Hey, the late queen is here? Where were you fooling around last night? Xiaoli is dead. You are the biggest suspect. Security guard, drag me out. This woman is mentally unstable. Her eyes are red. She looks like she is on drugs. He pointed at her with a sharp voice. The colleagues around him lowered their heads and did not dare to speak. Someone whispered. Manager Li is too much. Qingqing is usually so honest. 2 strong men from the security guard rushed forward, held her arms on the left and the right and said harshly, let's go, let's not delay everyone's work. Shen Qingqing felt angry, but she suppressed her enthusiasm first. She lowered her head and endured, pretending to be frightened. Manager Li, I was attacked last night. The police will prove it. Don't deduct my salary. Manager Li laughed, slapped the table and stood up. Proof? I have the final say. The company is my family's territory. You, a poor white-collar worker, want to drag me away with a monthly salary of 8,000. Manager Li was so frightened that his legs weakened and he fell down on his chair. What? What is this? Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights quickly. The whole office screamed. Documents flew everywhere, and sparks exploded from the computer. A cold light flashed in Shen Qingqing's eyes, and he no longer held back, and secretly moved the spiritual power in his body. The aura sword was not unsheathed, and he only released it with the pressure of foundation building. The invisible air wave pressed like a mountain. The security guard's knees weakened and he fell to his knees, with cold sweat pouring from his forehead. His voice trembled. Sister, please forgive me. This pressure is like being crushed by a tank. They stared at Shen Qingqing with their eyes wide open, and saw the air around her twisting, and the faint talisman light flickering, like a goddess on the dust. Manager Li was even worse. He felt like his heart was being pinched by a giant hand. He couldn't breathe. His legs were cramped. He slipped off the chair and crawled to her feet. Miss Shen, I was wrong. Double your salary and promote you to supervisor. Don't kill me. What the hell is going on? Sweat rolled down his bald head. His voice was buzzing like mosquitoes and flies, and his formerly arrogant face was twisted into the color of pig liver. The colleagues around him were dumbfounded. Xiao Wang covered his mouth with his hands and his eyes almost fell out of his head. Oh my God! Check her out. Her eyes are so scary. Manager Li is on his knees. This pressure is so inhuman. Lao Zhang leaned against the wall with his legs weak and murmured. Cultivation of immortals? Hidden immortal cultivators in the city? The ghost town incident mentioned in the news. She is the legendary one. Everyone in the office was chattering, and female colleague Xiao Wang's eyes widened. What's wrong with Qingqing? She looks so pale. Male colleague Lao Zhang shook his head. Manager Li is snobbish. The news last night said that the parking lot was haunted. She must have been frightened. The security guard yanked hard, and Shen Qingqing staggered. The supernatural aftermath broke out at this moment. The lights went out, the wind blew strong, and a black mist sprang out from the ceiling, wrapped around the security guard's neck and made a weird noise. The security guard's face turned purple and his eyes turned white. Ghost? There is a ghost. Help. The black fog was dispersed by the pressure and the lights returned. Shen Qingqing gathered her breath and looked down at Manager Li indifferently. Remember, from now on I have the final say. Get out. Manager Li rolled back and crawled back, knocking over tables and chairs. Everyone was silent, and their eyes changed from doubt to awe and fear. Someone whispered. She changed? Overnight, she seemed to be a different person. At this moment the office door was pushed open with a bang, and Bai Ning rushed in. With long wavy hair and a brand-name bag dangling, her quirky face was full of anxiety. Qingqing, why didn't you answer your phone? I heard from the police last night that there was an accident in the parking lot. Are you okay? She glanced at Li, who was kneeling on the ground. The manager and the security guard were stunned, and then they raised their eyebrows. Hey, what is that bald guy doing? Bullying my bestie? Believe it or not, I asked my dad to close your company. Bai Ning's family runs a trading company and has a rich background. When Manager Li heard this, his face turned pale and he kowtowed repeatedly. Miss Bai, misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. Shen Qingqing grabbed Bai Ning and glanced at everyone. It's gone, it's all gone. The office receded like a tide, leaving only the two of them. Manager Li climbed out of the door, and his trembling voice came from outside the door. Monster! She is a monster, everyone be careful. Bai Ning blinked her big eyes, moved closer to Shen Qingqing and took a sniff. Girl, you have a weird scent on your body, like the aura of an antique store. Tell me what happened last night. And why is that bald guy kneeling down on you? Quick move or I won't buy you a bag. Shen Qingqing took a deep breath. The jade slip fragments felt hot in his pocket. She pulled Bai Ning to the window and whispered. Ning Ning, this world is not simple. Last night, I awakened the bloodline of cultivating immortals and accidentally entered the boundary of the ghost city. I signed a fortune to get a spiritual light sword to kill the evil spirits. This jade slip points to your home, whereas the map of the hidden cave and the ancient magic weapon and elixir are all in it. But that guy Han Xiao is eyeing us, and the supernatural beings are chasing after us. Come with me to find out, and we can join forces to change our fate against the will of heaven. Bai Ning's almond-shaped eyes widened. She was suspicious at first, and then clapped her hands ecstatically. Wow! Cultivation of immortals? Like in novels? Spiritual light sword? Show it to sister. She pulled Shen Qingqing's arm, her face flushed with excitement. Okay. Come to my house to explore. My parents are on a business trip and I have time. Sister will help you beat those ghosts. Shen Qingqing nodded, feeling warm in her heart. This best friend is indeed reliable. The setting sun is like blood, shining on the European-style wall of Bai Ning's mansion, casting long shadows. The mansion covers an area of 1,000 square meters, with gurgling fountains and beautiful roses in the garden. However, at this moment, it was distorted by the cold wind, and the petals fell like blood rain. Outside the wall, black shadows were like a tide, and more than 100 ghosts were crawling low, their claws scratching the concrete floor, making a piercing scream. The leader of the supernatural little boss, a spider ghost with a human face, a waist as thick as a bucket, 8 legs like a sickle, the human skin on the face was twisted into white condensation, and green poisonous mist was spewing from his mouth. Give me the map, otherwise your family will become a river of blood. The green eyes flickered. It was the beacon controlled by Han Xiao. Bai Ning's face turned pale, her little hands tightly grasped Shen Qingqing's arm. Her voice was trembling but stubborn. Qingqing, this? What is this? Movie special effects? Why isn't my parents' security system responding? Her mansion has infrared surveillance and private bodyguards, but those bodyguards are lying beside the garden at the moment, vomiting black blood, eyes wide open and looking miserable. The ghost tide is approaching, the poisonous mist seeps into the walls, the roses wither into ashes, the lawn cracks with black seams, and there is a faint sound of cracking bones. Shen Qingqing's heart sank, the jade slip became hot, and Mo Fan's message echoed in his mind. Be careful, the human-faced spider ghost, Han Xiao's supernatural little boss, uses poison skills in the middle stage of foundation building to devour blood. Just as he was talking, his cell phone dinged, and Mo Fan's voice transmission jade talisman lit up. Qingqing. Han Xiao locked the map. He controlled the supernatural army, sneaked into the city, and went straight to Bai Ning's house. Night is about to fall, get back to the defense quickly. Shen Qingqing's face suddenly changed, and she pulled Bai Ning out of the company. Quick! Go home! As the sun set, the Bai Ning family's mansion was brightly lit, but suddenly there was a dark wind. There were dark shadows outside the wall, and ghosts and wolf howls could be faintly heard. A pair of green eyes flashed in the night. Bai Ning, hand over the map. Just when the poison net was about to touch her body, Shen Qingqing's eyes burst with cold light, and she growled, Ning Ning, close your eyes. Her consciousness surged, the power of the divine covenant boiled, and the aura sword instantly summoned Buzz. The sword body burst out from the void, and the colorful light tore through the night, like a river of stars pouring down from the sky. As soon as the sword was swung out, the sword's intention was channeled and resonated with the jade slips. The golden light turned into thousands of sword shadows, and the sound of swords in the sky and earth was like a dragon's roar, deafening. Boom! The poisonous web disappeared into ashes, and the green eyes of the human-faced spider ghost bulged, and its 8 legs danced wildly in an attempt to escape. Impossible! This sword intention. A pure-blood swordsman?
Master E.
The sword light penetrated its chest, and the huge body of the spider ghost exploded into green. A cloud of blood mist stumps flying around, hundreds of little ghosts screaming as if they had been hit hard. Sword immortal! Monster! Run! The cold wind suddenly stopped, leaving only a black pit of scorched earth outside the wall, green blood evaporating into poisonous smoke, and the smell of burnt food filling the air. Bai Ning opened her eyes. Her almond-shaped eyes were as round as copper bells, her small mouth opened in an O shape, and her voice trembled like leaves falling in the wind. Oh my God! Qingqing, your sword. Killed that monster in one flash? It looked like me and it scared me to death. She rushed forward, hugged Shen Qingqing's arm. Her face was red with excitement, her eyes shone with admiration. Senior sister. No, master. Accept me as your apprentice. This cultivator is so cool, I want to learn it. I'll crush those devils to death. Shen Qingqing's heart warmed, and she stroked her hair with a smile. Okay, the first apprentice. Luck goes through the 3 meridians. Concentrate on the Dantian dash. She pointed with her fingertips, and injected the spiritual power into Bai Ning's eyebrows, and a basic mental technique, Ling Guang Ju, went straight into the sea of consciousness. Bai Ning's delicate body trembled, white light loomed all over her body, and the zero-stage spiritual power of foundation building was born. She waved her hand and smashed a remaining ghost claw into pieces and exclaimed, Wow! The heat is flowing through the whole body. I feel like I can hit 10 managers. Li. Where the spider ghost died, golden light flashed, and an ancient mirror appeared, the yin-yang mirror. The black and white interweave on the mirror, absorbing the remaining green blood, and humming to recognize the master Shen Qingqing. The flow of yin and yang in the mirror can illuminate demons and identify ghosts, break illusions and eliminate poison, which is perfect for supernatural siege. Shen Qingqing closed the mirror, and the jade slip took the initiative to fly out and fell into Bai Ning's palm. She touched the jade slip with her quirky little hand, frowned slightly and had a flash of inspiration. Master, this fragment. There are clues in the ancestral antiques in my study. The first piece of the map is interpreted. The entrance to the cave is at the core of the ghost city. The ancient prohibition requires the sword to break, and it contains the 9-turn immortal pill and the heavenly magical artifact. Bai Ning pumped her fist excitedly, her eyes full of adventure. At this moment, the engine roared and the piercing horn sounded outside the mansion. Manager Li's Mercedes-Benz luxury car rushed in first, followed by 5 or 6 Autos. The car was packed with the company's snobbish faction shareholder Lao Wang, financial officer Xiao Lu, and a few security guards, all of whom had witnessed the coercion last night. Manager Li leaned out of the car window with his bald head and a pale face. He held a mobile phone and broadcast live. Look! Shen Qingqing is hiding from Bai Ning's house. She killed Xiao Li and the office is haunted. It's all her fault. Shareholders, let's block her career prospects together, and call the police to arrest her. Man! Lao Wang, who was in his 50s and wearing a suit, shouted. Yes! Get out of here. The company has decided to fire you and ban you from the whole industry. Miss Bai Ning, this woman has red eyes and is not a human being. Despair spread like ink. Shen Qingqing's spiritual power surged in his body, but he felt a stinging pain in his meridians. Although the injury healed last night, only 30% of his spiritual power remained after the battle. The wave of ghosts rushed onto the wall, claws falling like rain, and the door burst into pieces. The fragments shot out like shrapnel. Bai Ning screamed and retreated. It's over, we are going to be the heroines of ghost movies. The spider ghost laughed, danced wildly with its 8 legs, and covered its escape route with poisonous threads like a net. Little girl, I'll suck you dry first, and then it's the sword cultivator's turn. Shen Qingqing sneered. How dare an ordinary ant dare to provoke? Her desire was suppressed first, so she took a step back and let the luxury car approach 10 meters. Everyone laughed wildly. Look at her, she is so scared. Old Wang put his hands on his hips. Kneel down and beg for mercy, maybe I will spare you. The atmosphere of despair filled the air. Bai Ning said anxiously. Master! Shen Qingqing's eyes flashed with sword light. Watch it. The spiritual light sword was summoned again, and the sword light soared into the sky, tearing the night sky like a white rainbow through the sun. The sky and the earth turned pale. The sword energy stretched hundreds of meters across. All the lurking ghosts were killed, and black smoke rose everywhere. Before anyone could react, he slashed with his sword. Boom! Manager Li's luxury car was cut off from the middle. The front wheel flew into the air. The engine exploded and flames shot into the sky. The car body was broken into 2 parts, and it crashed into the garden and created a deep hole. Manager Li crawled out of the disabled car. His pants were soaked. He knelt down and kowtowed, his voice hoarse and trembling. Fairy! Fairy, please forgive me. Sword light. 1 sword smashes the car? Such power, God! Lao Wang's legs cramped and he fell to his knees, his fat face twisted.
Que, Monsieur Shen?
No, Fairy Sin. The company will give you all the shares. We were wrong, the witch is us. The security guard's stick fell to the ground, and he stared as if he saw a ghost. A Mercedes-Benz that can't be blown up by a tank is cut in half with a sword? She is a master of cultivating immortals. The whole place was dead silent. Onlookers dropped their mobile phones to the ground and muttered, Urban Sword Fairy. The live broadcast is crazy. Xiao Lu, the finance girl, screamed and covered her mouth, her eyes almost bulging out. The pressure last night was terrible. Tonight the sword light is soaring into the sky. The company is over, we surrender. The snobbish faction knelt down collectively, with fear and admiration on their arrogant faces in the past, and someone crawled and licked his shoes. Fairy Shan, accept me. Let's be dogs. Shen Qingqing sheathed her sword and looked down coldly. From now on, the whole company will be at my disposal. I am in charge, you ants, and you will be loyal. Everyone said in unison. Long live the Qingxian Chamber of Commerce. The status was reversed, and Manager Li approached Bai Ning's feet. Miss Fairy Shen, my father is a shareholder. Please bring him into the Chamber of Commerce. The motorcade sealed the gate, and more than 20 people got out of their cars and surrounded them. Security guards held sticks, shareholders pointed, and passers-by watched the video on their mobile phones. Wow, the mansion is haunted? Is that beauty Shen Qingqing? The ghost town heroine mentioned in the news. Bai Ning raised her eyebrows. You guys, you snobs, get out. Qingqing is my master. Manager Li laughed, stepped on the accelerator and rushed into the garden. I'll drive a commercial truck and smash your wall. Damn it. The engine roared and the luxury car pounced like a beast, and the tires crushed the scorched earth, raising black ash. Bai Ning giggled and clapped her hands. Master, you are so handsome. These bastards bullied you yesterday, but now they are like dogs. While celebrating, ancient books and scrolls flew from the night sky, and a figure in green robe landed on the ground. Qingfeng, in his early 30s, an elegant warlock holding ancient books with bright eyes. Fairy Shan in the Xia Qingfeng, an expert in ancient books, came here to form an alliance after hearing the resonance of the jade slips. The first fragment of the book, Secret Records of the Ghost City, needs to be illuminated by the yin and yang mirror, which points directly to the core. He bowed and said in a sincere voice, Han Xiao is ambitious, and the supernatural army is coming. I will help you 3 crack it. The cronies in black robes fell like meteorites. The green light was like poisonous snakes spitting out messages. locking the jade slip in Bai Ning's palm, thunder roaring all over the body. The momentum in the later stage of foundation building was so great that the lawn of the mansion's garden collapsed inch by inch, the water column of the fountain twisted into a black vortex, and the remaining petals of the rose rolled back like a violent rain. The confidant's face was pale and twisted, his eyes were blazing with green fire, and a sinister smile echoed. Master Han Xiao personally bestowed the soul-eating claws. Female swordsman, please hand over the fragments of the map, otherwise your soul will be scattered. The shadow of the claw enlarged 10 feet, sharp as a hook, tearing through the night sky and heading towards the three of them. The air was filled with a corrosive stench. Passers-by and onlookers screamed and backed away, and the mobile phone live broadcast screen trembled. Oh my God, there is another monster. Fairy Shen, help. Bai Ning's face turned pale, she held the jade slip tightly and backed away, her body trembling slightly. Master, this guy's momentum is 10 times stronger than the spider ghost. Shall we run? Qin Feng's elegant face was solemn, and the ancient book's secret records of the ghost city automatically protected his body. The green light flashed but was suppressed by the thunder. He gritted his teeth and whispered, Fairy, this beast's claws have supernatural poison, specializing in breaking blood. Don't fight hard. The company snobs knelt down and everyone looked like ants. His face was pale, Manager Li's trousers were soaked and he kowtowed like garlic. Fairy, we can't stop. This green light sucks souls. Old Wang's fat body shook like chaff and murmured, It's over, Han Xiao's men. The Ghost King's cronies rumored to be a hermit in the city, we are dead. The haze of despair spread like ink, the walls of the mansion cracked again, the bodies of the bodyguards were soaked with black blood on the ground, and the ghostly wind stirred up howls of ghosts and wolves. Shen Qingqing frowned slightly. His body's spiritual power was only 30%, and his meridians ached faintly. He sneered in his heart. Han Xiao, an ant, dares to commit suicide by trusting his confidants? She suppressed her momentum first, dodged sideways, and let the claw shadow brush her shoulder, tearing a bloody mark on her sleeve. Bai Ning exclaimed, Master! Everyone stared in despair. She is injured. The fairy can't bear it. The confidants laughed wildly, and the claw shadow came up again. Young women, why are you pretending to be a swordsman? Just when the claw hook was 3 feet away from her, Shen Qingqing's eyes exploded with sword light, and she shouted, Yin Yang mirror, come out. The ancient mirror buzzed, and the black and white energy exploded like a tornado. The mirror reflected all the poisonous green light, and the confidant's chest pierced with blood. His green eyes bulged and he staggered back. This? Broken illusion mirror?
Impossible.
Shen Qingqing pointed out, and the divine spiritual power gathered at his fingertips, and the pure blood sword shot like lightning poof. The confidant's body-protecting spiritual shield lit up with a buzz. In the late stage of foundation building, the green shield was as thick as a city wall, but it exploded like paper. The fingerlight pierced the center of his eyebrows, and his brain splattered with green blood. His bulky body fell to the ground, and it turned into black smoke during convulsions and dissipated. Han, sir. The whole place was dead silent. Bai Ning's almond-shaped eyes widened, her mouth opened wide, and she rushed forward with an excited scream. Master is amazing. 1 finger to build the foundation in a second? Mirror reflection and sword finger, so invincible. She hugged Shen Qingqing's arm, worshipping her like a little girl, her cheeks flushed. Those hermit cultivators, I heard you have to kneel down. Qin Feng's ancient book fell to the ground. His face was twisted and shocked, and he knelt down. The fairy's sword finger is psychic, and the shield is like a thorn in the tofu. I'm blind, such a pure-blood swordsman. It's rare to see it in 100 years. Manager Li crawled closer and stuck out his tongue. Licking the toe of Shen Qingqing's shoes, his voice trembled like a candle in the wind. The fairy is invincible. Our company gives it all. I'll sign the equity documents immediately. Lao Wang burst into tears and presented his business card with his fat hand. Mr. Shen, buy it. We are snobbish and blind. I want to be a slave. Security guard Xiao Lu's eyes lit up and he murmured. 1 finger explodes the shield. It's more powerful than the movie. I'll join the Fairy Chamber of Commerce and become a dog. The passers-by started broadcasting and the barrage went crazy. Sword Immortal points out to kill the Ghost King's cronies. Shen Qingqing closed the mirror coldly and proudly, looking down at the people kneeling on the ground. Manager Li, summon the shareholders quickly and sign the transfer letter. The Qingxian Chamber of Commerce will annex your company. From now on, spiritual weapons will be circulated and the business war will begin. The words fell, the jade slip became hot, and Mo Fan's voice was thunderous. Good disciple, the first strategy in the business war. Use ordinary equity to suppress the power of the hermit cultivators. Manager Li's family is weak, so after the acquisition, spiritual weapons will be injected into his ears. Sure, opened a black market for magic weapons, forcing Han Xiao to cut off the supply. The second fragment of the jade slip pointed at the small forces at the edge of the ghost city and expanded the market. Shen Qingqing felt hot, nodded in agreement and waved his fist. Master, the Chamber of Commerce is awesome. Qin Feng stood up and said enthusiastically, Fairy, lead the way. Shen Qingqing nodded, and the three of them formed a team. The yin and yang mirror shone on the jade slip, and the golden light flourished. The second fragment of the map faintly emerged, pointing deeper into the ghost city. Bai Ning was excited. Let's go. Master Brother Qin, let's fight in. Qin Feng's eyes flashed eagerly. The fairy's swordsmanship is unparalleled. With this alliance we will win. The night was dark, and thunder suddenly rolled in the distance. A figure of a black-robed confidant swooped over, and the green light locked on the jade slip. Master Han Xiao ordered, bring the second fragment. Before the motorcade stopped at the village, the fat Zen master stood up, his voice buzzing like a bell. Fairy Shen's name is known to everyone around the ghost town. But in the early stages of building the foundation of the female stream, Han Xiao will be fed by the supernatural sooner or later. Join the Chamber of Commerce? Information exchange magic weapon. Why should I trust you? The thin Taoist smiled sinisterly, waved his dust whisk, and the phantom covered the sky. The map fragments, we are loose cultivators. The intelligence network has already locked the core of the ghost city. Hand over the spiritual light sword. Otherwise you will be driven out of the edge. The female cultivator's jade ring flashed, and her eyes were taunting. Little girl, use your sword to show off your evil. Han Xiao's snobbish cultivators are here to steal your head. The 20 cultivators in the village roared with momentum, and the fog condensed, and the campfire twisted into a grimace. Bai Ning was furious. Master, these snobbish ghosts, step on them. Qin Feng whispered. Fairy, be patient and keep your heart in mind. Shen Qingqing sneered, suppressing her enthusiasm before letting the tide of ridicule. She lowered her head as if timid, and the other cultivators laughed wildly. Look, you are so scared. Heroine. What a joke. Han Xiao's snobbish cultivators appeared. Body 5 rough men in the middle stage of foundation building, black armor and green robes. The leading man smiled ferociously. Master Han ordered us to grab the map. Female sword cultivator. Kneel down and offer your sword. The big man sacrificed his body-protecting spiritual shield, and the green shield pressed down like a mountain. The claws of the rough men came out, the village gate shattered, and the casual cultivators retreated. Han Xiao is powerful, we will not interfere. Despair came again. Bai Ning's little hands trembled, and Qin Feng held the ancient book tightly. A cold light flashed in Shen Qingqing's eyes. Aunt. She did not summon her sword but pointed out Buzz. The pure blood sword intent condenses the finger light and shoots at the big man's spiritual shield. The green shield Kara exploded like glass, and the fragments scattered everywhere. The finger light penetrated the man's dantian, and the blood mist exploded. His green eyes widened and he knelt down and screamed. The shield, the foundation backing, shattered with one finger? Monster! The 4 disabled men stood dumbly. Their pants were wet and their legs were weak, and they all fell to their knees. Fairy, spare your life. We were wrong, from snobbish dogs to slaves. We are willing to be loyal to the Qingxian Chamber of Commerce. The big man crawled closer, licking Shen Qingqing's boots. His voice trembled. Han Xiao is blind, we are with the wrong owner. Full information. The first restriction in the ghost city, the 3 illusory formations need to be broken. It was deathly silent in the village. The 3 fat Zen masters dropped their rosary beads to the ground, their fat faces twisted, and their knees hit the ground. Explode the late stage shield with one finger. The fairy swordsmanship reaches the sky. Information exchanges magic weapons. Let's join the Chamber of Commerce. The thin Taoist priest's fly whisk broke, and his body was as thin as a bamboo pole. He murmured, "From ridicule to return. Fairy Shen the Supreme." The female monk's jade ring shattered, winking. With tears in her eyes, she crawled on her knees and said, "The female hero is unparalleled, and the loose cultivators have surrendered to the camp and provided the complete map of the ghost city." 20 loose cultivators collectively knelt down, shouting loudly, "Long live the Qingxian Chamber of Commerce. Fairy Shen dominates the edge." Bai Ning giggled. "Master is handsome. The snobbery becomes a slave. The contrast is so exciting." Qin Feng's eyes filled with tears. "The fairy is so angry that he swallows thousands of miles." When the Chamber of Commerce was first established and expanded, Mo Fan laughed loudly via voice transmission. "Wonderful! Manager Li's equity has been collected, injected into the spirit-gathering formation, and the black market has opened. Break the restriction quickly." Bai Ning held the jade slip and her strange eyes lit up. "Master, look at me." She used the spiritual light Ju, and spiritual power was injected into the jade slip. There was a loud buzzing, golden light soaring into the sky, and the ancient prohibition cracked open in the void in front of the village. 3 phantom formations emerged, with heavy ghost shadows and a sinister wind like a knife. Qin Feng said anxiously, "Secret records, the first one needs to be reflected in the mirror." Shen Qingqing's mirror came out, the black and white energy swept away. The illusion formation flew away. Bai Ningjiao shouted, "Crack it!" The jade slip absorbed the spiritual energy, and a large fist spirit bead emerged, and the spiritual mist in the bead rolled directly into Shen Qingqing's dantian. She surged from the early stage of foundation building to the middle stage. Her meridians surged like rivers, and her sword intent became even purer. The night wind turned violent, and the 3 of them drove at high speed. After the Mercedes-Benz was wrecked, Manager Li led the way in his Audi, surrounded by company snobs like escorts. The neon city fades away, and an abandoned industrial area emerges on the edge of the ghost town. Among the ruins, mist lingers, the lights of the hermitage camp flicker, and more than a dozen monks sit cross-legged. The atmosphere in the early stages of foundation building is mixed, and someone whispers, "I heard that Shen Qingqing broke a Mercedes-Benz with a sword. A spider ghost? A female swordsman?" The 3 urban hermit leaders, a fat Zen master holding a rosary, a thin Taoist priest waving a fly whisk, and a female monk holding a jade ring, all moved by the wind, their eyes greedy but hesitant. Before the joy had dissipated, thunder struck again, and hundreds of supernatural ghosts attacked the gate of the village. Their claws were thick, and their green eyes were like lamps, eating fragments. Shen Qingqing laughed loudly. "Sword array!" The aura sword exploded, and the sword intention turned into thousands of sword shadows, and the swords in the sky and the earth roared like dragons. The sword array rotates, the ghosts grind like insects, the blood mist steams, and the front of the village turns into scorched earth. The casual cultivator was stunned, and the thin Taoist priest trembled. The sword formation slaughtered hundreds of ghosts, without leakage. The female casual cultivator screamed and covered her mouth. "When the urban hermit cultivators hear this, they will swarm here." Qin Feng bowed and said in an excited voice, "Fairy, this bead assists the promotion. The core of the cave is the immortal mansion order. The ancient magical weapon that defies the heavens, controls the 9 heavens of the cave with one order, controls the pattern of the ghost city, and reshapes the urban immortality." All the cultivators stared in admiration, and the fat Zen master murmured, "The immortal mansion order. Han Xiao Mingming. If the fairy gets it, he will dominate." Black clouds poured down like ink, overwhelming the camp on the edge of the ghost town, making the sky and the ground dark. The mist billowed between the broken walls and ruins into huge waves. The campfire exploded with a pop, turning into green flames and ghost eyes wandering around. The fat Zen master knelt down in front of the village. His fat body trembled violently. The sound of broken rosary beads was like bones cracking, and his pale lips trembled. Han Xiao is here in person. The early stage of the golden elixir is powerful. Green flames burn souls, and the faces of the casual cultivators on the edge of the village change when they hear it. The whole village is doomed. The thin Taoist priest dusted the embers on the ground, and his thin face was distorted like the ghost crawled with limp legs. Fairy, run! He destroyed the village in one flame, and the 3 former alliances were wiped out. The fragment of the female cultivator's jade ring was pierced into the palm of her hand, dripping with blood. She burst into tears and screamed in despair. Master Han is invincible female swordsman cultivator. Who do you think you are? Hand over the fragments and ask for a way out. Bai Ning's face turned pale. She held the jade slip tightly and stepped back, her delicate body like catkins in the wind. Master, this momentum. I can't breathe even in the middle stage of foundation building. And the golden elixir is as powerful as a mountain collapse. Her almond-shaped eyes widened, and her voice trembled with tears. We just ascended to the realm, the village is blocked, we can't escape. Qin Feng's elegant robe was torn by the wind, and the pages of the ancient book, secret records of the ghost city, were scorched black. He gritted his teeth and stood up, his face as pale as paper. Secret records of the fairy. Han Xiao's soul-eating green flame specializes in melting blood, and the souls of those who resist will fly away. The chief helmsman of the high-rise building in the city is trying again. The 20 casual cultivators in the village cried in unison, and the fat Zen master kowtows and bleeds. Master Han, spare your life, we casual cultivators are following blindly. Fairy Shun, from ridicule to return, you are wrong. Han Xiao's subordinates changed their allegiance to the big man's pants, which were soaked. He crawled to Shen Qingqing's feet and licked his boots. Fairy, our information was wrong. Han Xiao came in person and was not a close friend, and the army followed. The black-robed giant shadow in the sky slowly solidified. Han Xiao's eyes glowed with blood. Green flames surged around his body like a tsunami. The burning air corroded with shishi. The ground of the camp turned into a black abyss inch by inch, and the evil wind rolled up the loose hair like needles piercing the bones. His domineering voice sounded like thunder, causing his eardrums to bleed. Shen Qingqing, a female swordsman, shattered the shield of my confidence with the spirit sword? And the Qingxian Chamber of Commerce has no foundation. The black market is cut off due to business wars, and the entrance to the ghost town is blocked. The fragments are handed over to the jade slips, or the green flames are used to refine the soul. The green flames turned into thousands of ghost claws and clawed at the village gate. The steel bars where the claws pass were twisted into twists. The abandoned containers on the roadside exploded with a bang, and the flames illuminated everyone's desperate faces. Manager Li broadcast live on Farya Stone's mobile phone, and the screen was trembling. Han Xiao. Fairy, we will give you all the equity in our company. Don't destroy the village. Shen Qingqing's eyebrows were furrowed. The spirit power of the spirit beads in his body was only 60%, and his meridians were aching like fire. He snorted coldly in his heart. In the early stage of the golden elixir, you dare to suppress my pure blood sword veins? She suppressed her momentum first, then stepped back slightly, letting the green flames approach 3 feet, and the heat wave burned the corners of her red clothes. Bai Ning screamed and covered her mouth. Master is scalded. All the cultivators stared and collapsed. The fairy has retreated. The golden elixir is invincible. Let's kneel down. Han Xiao's evil smile enlarged, and the shadow of the green flame's claws pressed down like a mountain. Kneel down, female sword cultivator, from invincible to gray. Just a few feet away from the claws, Shen Qingqing's eyes burst with sword light, and he shouted, Lingguang sword fusion pearl. The spiritual light sword buzzed, and the pearl light of the gathering spirit beads poured into the sword body. The sword intention exploded like a river, and the pearl spirit atomized thousands of sword threads. The sword body surged 3 feet, and the pure white sword light broke through the black clouds. Buzz! With a slash of the sword light, the green flame ghost claws shattered like paper, and the green rain poured down from the fragments. Han Xiao's blood pupils shrank, and his black robe bulged, and he retreated 100 feet. Fusion gathering spirit? In the middle stage of foundation building, the sword intent breaks the golden elixir flame. Impossible. Shen Qingqing couldn't help it. Chasing Leng Ao stepped forward. Han Xiao, get out. At the beginning of the expansion of the Qingxian Chamber of Commerce, you are blocked by ants? What a joke. She waved her sword finger, merging the sword light into 100 sword rainbows, Sweeping away the remaining flames, green grass regenerated from the scorched earth in front of the village, and the banners of the scattered camp were hunted. Qingfang's ancient book automatically turned the page. His face was twisted in shock and his knees were weak. The fairy sword melts the beads and cuts through the golden elixir with one blow. There is no secret record. A swordsman saint. Bai Ning's almond-shaped eyes shined, and he threw himself on his arms and screamed, "Master is so handsome!" The golden elixir retreats. The contrast is so refreshing. From despair to ecstasy. Fat Zen Master burst into tears and knelt down to lick the new grass on the ground. The sword breaks through the green flames. The fairy god. The village will return to Qingxian forever. The thin Taoist priest jumped up and yelled. From mocking the golden elixir to being dumbfounded, we cultivators flocked to pay homage. Han Xiao's black shadow suddenly retreated from the sky, and the roar echoed. Shen Qingqing, this revenge must be avenged. The corporate alliance seals the ghost city, and the black market cuts off the spiritual stones. The aftermath of the green flames dissipated, the night wind cleared, and the dead silence in the village turned into a carnival. 20 cultivators worshipped together. Fairy Wushuang. The big man got up and offered his blood. Intelligence. Han Xiao has formed an alliance with 5 urban enterprises to block the entrance to the ghost town, mocking the Qingxian for having no foundation, and suppressing the black market with equity. Shen Qingqing sneered and nodded. Let's go, city chief. Qingfeng, unite the ancient book pavilion. Bai Ning, you are the master of the business war. Manager Li, annex the remaining industries. The convoy was speeding through the neon city, where there were many high-rise buildings in the early morning. Shen Qingqing and his party went straight to the top building of Manager Li's company, the den of snobbery in the past, but now the flag of Qingxian is hanging high. The elevator opened with a ding. Manager Li's trousers were still wet and he led the way with a trembling voice. Fairy shareholders are all kneeling down and waiting. I will give you the remaining property. The hall was magnificent, with more than 10 shareholders in neat suits but pale faces. Seeing Shen Qingqing come in, they all knelt down. Mr. Shen is invincible. Mr. Shen. The company's market value evaporated by 30% last night, and the Han Xiao alliance blocked the supply of magic weapons. We are snobbish and blind. A fat shareholder kowtows and bleeds. The Qingxian black market is open, we cut off the supply? The Han Xiao Enterprise Alliance laughs at you for being a baseless woman, blocking the entrance to the ghost city. And you can't bring in the spiritual stone. Bai Ning blinked strangely and waved the tablet with her little hand. Master, watch my business war. She ran the spiritual light Jew, injecting spiritual power into the stock market software, assisted by the golden light of the jade slip, and the screen data jumped wildly. Get the equity out smart. Inject the spirit gathering array. Black market spiritual stones are converted into mortal stocks, and the stock price of Han Xiao's 5 companies collapsed. The screen in the hall broadcast the stock market. Han Xiao's alliance company's red market turned green, and the stock price dong glared and bulged. Impossible. 500 million evaporated in one night? Miss Bai's calculation. Manager Li licked his shoes. Ning Fairy, the queen of business war. Shen Qingqing smiled lightly. Annexation. Established the sex chief helm. She tapped the light sword in the center of the hall, and the sword light was engraved with the 4 words, Qingxian chief helm. Qingfeng bowed and presented the information from the ancient book pavilion. Fairy, all 500 volumes of the ancient book pavilion's secret records are presented. After the union, the complete map of the ghost city will be completed. 5 supernatural warlocks heard the wind and appeared from the pavilion. The white-haired old magician holding a bone staff, the black-robed sorceress holding a soul lamp, the twin brothers Yin-Yang Pearl, and 3 strong men with ghost talismans. They were all in the late stage of foundation building, with hesitant and greedy eyes. The old magician buzzed. Fairy Shen's sword broke the golden elixir, and the pavilion master Qingfeng returned to his heart. We exchanged the information for magic weapons. The black-robed female magician smiled charmingly and taunted. Female swordsmen have no foundation, and the Han Xiao alliance has blocked the entrance. Join? Why? The strong man in ghost symbol shouted. The snobbish alliance is suppressing your black market. We will not wade into the muddy water. The shareholders whispered in despair. Without the warlock, the chief rudder is empty. Bai Ning puffed up. Master, step on it. Shen Qingqing wanted to restrain herself, but let the taunting wind blow her head. She lowered her head as if timid, and the 5 warlocks laughed wildly. Look, you are so scared. Female. Just when the old magician's bone staff pressed down, Shen Qingqing's sword finger came out again, and he pointed the fusion pearl, Kara. The bone staff exploded, and the old magician fell down with white hair. Standing upright, he knelt down and roared. One finger can crush the late-stage magic weapon monster. The black-robed female soul lamp flew away. Her charming tears broke down and she crawled. From ridicule to slave, join the Chamber of Commerce. The twin brothers' yin and yang beads were shattered, and they shouted together. Fairy is unparalleled, 5 warlocks are loyal. The strong man Guifu licked his legs softly. All information is given. The entrance to the ghost city is blocked at the broken bridge in the industrial zone, and the Korean alliance is guarded by hundreds of spirits. The status contrast is like a chasm. In the past, there were scattered cultivators in the stronghold, and now they are hunting under the banner of Qingxian. The mobile phone information of the urban hermit cultivators is spreading wildly, and more auras are approaching. Suddenly, the sky was filled with black clouds, and a domineering voice roared. Shen Qingqing, Han Xiao is here in person. The Chamber of Commerce is suppressing. The supernatural army is pressing down. Hand over the fragments or die. A giant shadow in black robes descended, with green flames rising into the sky. At dawn, the convoy rushes to the industrial zone to break the bridge, and the Korean alliance blocks the entrance to the ghost town. A group of ghosts and ghosts are entrenched. The bridge is sealed with black fog and iron chains, and the green eyes are dense. The snobbish manager of the Enterprise Alliance laughs from a distance. Shen Qingqing has no roots, the sword nuns flow, the black market breaks spiritual stones, kneel down. The supernatural ghost claws came out, the bridge deck collapsed, and the sinister wind was like a knife. Bai Ning trembled. Master, 100 ghosts are building the foundation. Qin Feng secretly recorded the body protection. It's hard to break through. The 5 magicians sacrificed their talisman lamps together, but were suppressed by the ghost group. The old magician shouted, I can't hold on. Shen Qingqing stepped forward coldly and proudly. Ant blockade. The wings of the spiritual light sword were spread out, and the spirit gathering pearls were full, and he shouted, Rain of pearls and swords. Thousands of wing blades poured down like rain, and the blood mist of ghosts evaporated wherever the rain of swords passed. The iron chains dinged and shattered, and the broken bridge was reborn with golden light. The business manager glared from a distance and knelt down in a soaked suit. Sword rain slaughtered hundreds of ghosts. The market value doubled overnight? Our alliance collapsed. The black market stock market skyrocketed. The market value of the Qingxian Chamber of Commerce soared tenfold. The high-rise buildings in the city soared to the sky, and hermit cultivators flocked to live broadcast. Qingxian hegemony. The chief helmsman knelt down in silence, and the stockholder's fat face twisted. The warlock has returned. The Qingxian has grown stronger. Qin Feng burst into tears. The fairy is angry. The 5 warlocks are replenishing their fighting power. The jade slip suddenly became hot, and Mo Fan laughed loudly through the voice. Okay. God's contract is upgraded. The soul contract's 2nd level. The magic weapon is unlocked. Shen Qingqing's aura sword buzzed in his body, and the 2nd form was unlocked. The sword body turned into 2 wings. The wing blades were like dragon scales, and the sword's intention was sublimated to summon Jianzhu rain. Bai Ning was excited. Master Niao, go and break the blockade. The hall on the top floor of the main rudder was brightly lit, and the wine glasses were intertwined with laughter. The fat Zen master with a rosy face raised his glass and drank wildly. The fairy sword rain slaughtered hundreds of ghosts. The black market soared tenfold. The Korean alliance knelt and licked. Long live the Qingxian. The thin Taoist priest slimmed down and bounced, and the whisk was newly refined and hunted. Ju from the village seeing the hegemony of the chief helm. The fairy smashed the treasure with 1 finger, and our casual cultivators were all wiped out. The black-robed female sorcerer's eyes were full of love, and the embers of the soul lamp turned into powder and fell. She knelt down and licked the toes of Shen Qingqing's boots. Master, from the taunting girl to the slave's wet pants, The 5 sorcerers vomited all their information, and Han Xiao's army hid the workers. The industry district secretly said. Manager Li's suit was wrinkled. His trousers were dry but his legs were weak. He broadcast the green stock market on his tablet. Fairy, the company has annexed Han Can's industry. The market value has exceeded 2 billion, and urban hermits are flocking to join. Bai Ning giggled and fiddled with the jade slip with her little hands. Master, it's on the map. Duan Shanjin, the twin restriction needs the wing sword. I have prepared the spiritual light technique. And the solution is just around the corner. Qin Fengru's robes were neat, and the ancient book Secret Records of the Ghost City was placed on the desk. He handed it over with tears in his eyes. Fairy, the 500 volumes of the ancient book pavilion have been exhausted, and the information of the immortal mansion has been locked at the core. After joining forces, Qingxian will be invincible. Shen Qingqing sat on the throne, her eyebrows slightly raised. The wing blades of the second form of the spiritual light soared and her body hummed, and the mist of the spirit-gathering beads lingered in her meridians. She smiled lightly and scanned the crowd. The Chamber of Commerce is expanding, the black market for spiritual stones is like a flood. Han Xiao ants are blocking it? Break it to pieces. All subordinates, they roared in unison. The power of the fairies. The joy was as mellow as wine. The aura vortex in the air became more and more intense. The dawn shimmered outside the high-rise buildings with neon lights, and the barrage of the live broadcast of the hidden cultivator flooded the screen. Queen Qingxian, from white-collar workers to the pinnacle of the business world, the contrast explodes. Boom! Suddenly, the black clouds exploded outside the main rudder, and the tsunami of green flames roared like thousands of ghost dragons, crashing into the golden light defense formation. Cracra, cracks spread like spider webs, and the glass of high-rise buildings exploded with snap, and debris poured down like rain. The bitter wind swept into the hall, and the wine glass instantly turned into green embers. The fat Zen master's fat body bounced up and hit the table, and his face was pale with wine splashing. Sea of green flames. Han Xiao's army. Thousands of supernatural powers, led by Jin Dan himself. Our celebration banquet has turned desperate. The thin Taoist priest burned his fly whisk, and his thin face twisted and screamed. The General Rudder's protective formation is top-notch, I can't hold it. Run away, fairy. The high-rise buildings in the city have become a ghost domain. The soul lamp of the black-robed sorceress popped out and she burst into tears. Master, the information is wrong. Han Xiao joined forces with the 5 major families in the city to encircle and suppress the company, cut off supply in the black market, and the stock price collapsed. Manager Li's tablet popped to pieces and the screen was blood red. The market value has evaporated by 1.5 billion. The heads of the Qin family and the Zhao family came in person, snobbishly ridiculing the immortals for having no roots, and blocking the whole city's spiritual stone luck. In the green flames of the sky, the black-robed crane-haired Han Xiao with blood-pupilled eyes emerged with a ferocious smile. The green flames all over his body turned into the shadow of the ghost king hundreds of feet tall. The soul-burning heat wave burned the steel bars of high-rise buildings red. His thunderous sound shattered the crystal lamp in the hall. Shen Qingqing, female sword repairer ant. Qingxian Chamber of Commerce? The black market breaks the spirit stone. The corporate alliance swallows your helm. Green flame refining soul. Thousands of green flame ghost soldiers poured out, and the foundation building ghost clawed at the protective formation. The mist seeped into the hall, and 20 cultivators knelt down in mourning. The fat Zen master kowtows and bleeds. Master Han, please forgive us, we have gone from being loyal to the fairy to regretting it, and we made the mistake of being with a woman. The 5 warlocks hugged each other with weak legs. The sound of the bone staff breaking echoed. The golden elixir army is pressing down on the territory. The clan leaders are snobbishly joining forces. The fairy is in the middle of foundation building. She is doomed. The edges of Qin Feng's ancient book were scorched black, and his scholarly face was pale as he held up the staff. It is recorded in the secret record that Han Xiao destroyed 3 sects in the sea of green flames, and the ordinary money of the family business suppressed the black market. Our formation has not been completed.
Bai Ning.
The almond-shaped eyes widened, and the little face turned pale as he held the jade slip tightly. Master, the protective formation is shattered. The ghost soldiers have entered. My spiritual power is empty in the 0 stage of foundation building. Manager Li's trousers became wet again, and he crawled to the window to live broadcast the collapse. Qin Patriarch in a neat suit mocked, Shen Qingqing, a white-collar untouchable, dares to go against the business war? The whole city is on lockdown. Outside the high-rise building, at the ruins of the broken bridge in the industrial zone, the patriarchs of the 5 major families gathered together. The Qin clan chief had a fat face and a cigar in his mouth and sneered. Han Xiao has an invincible golden elixir, and Qing Xianxiu is invincible? She used to be a white-collar worker in the company, but now she is the chief executive? Allied companies have swallowed up half of her country, and not a single soul stone in the black market has entered. Patriarch Xiao is tall and thin, holding a golden hammer in his hand. Snobbish eyes, she swords. What does it mean to kill hundreds of ghosts in the rain? The sea of green flames flooded the hall, and the subordinates roared in despair. The family is under siege. The Chamber of Commerce is dead. The green flame ghost soldiers broke through the formation, and the first wave of ghost claws grabbed Shen Qingqing. Shen Qingqing's willow eyebrows stood up, with only 80% of the spirit-gathering beads left in her body. She suppressed her momentum, turned sideways, and let the shadow of her claws approach a few feet. The corners of her clothes were burned black. Bai Ning covered her mouth in shock. "Master, it's hot." The fat Zen master stared and collapsed. "The fairy has retreated. There is no solution to the golden elixir sea." Han Xiao's blood-pupilled eyes dilated and he smiled ferociously. "Kneel down, female, stream from invincible to gray. The family enterprise ye. Swallow the equity of Qingxian." Just as the ghost claw reached her body, Shen Qingqing coldly snorted. "Yin-yang mirror merge." The yin-yang mirror appeared in her palm, and the black and white light intertwined into the aura sword wing blade. The mirror light flooded into the sword body, the sword wing dragon scales surged 5 feet, the bead mist merged with the yin and yang energy, and the sword intention turned into Xianguang slash, pure white sword light mixed with black and white whirlpools, bursting into the sky. Buzz buzz. With one slash, the immortal light was like a tornado. Hundreds of green flame ghost soldiers steamed with blood mist. The Ghost General's foundation head exploded with a bang bang. The green flame tsunami rolled back hundreds of feet, and the high-rise protective formation instantly shone with golden light. Han Xiao's black robe swelled and he retreated, his blood pupils shrunk. The yin-yang mirror merges with the sword? The fairy light breaks through the golden elixir sea in the middle stage of foundation building, monster. The hall was silent for a moment. The fat Zen master's fat eyes bulged, his fat body bounced up and roared. "Destroy 100 ghosts in one strike." From despair to ecstasy, fairy god. The thin Taoist priest opened his mouth wide and his voice trembled like a sieve. The sword merges with the mirror, the green flames fly away. Our hearts are trembling. The black-robed female sorcerer burst into tears and licked her boots. "Master Wushuang, from ridicule to worship," the warlock Yongnu. Manager Li restarted the tablet, and the live broadcast exploded. "Queen Qingxian, the family kneels." Qin Feng's ancient book turned the page automatically, and his face was twisted with blood. Secret record, sword mirror holy light, breaking the golden Dan sea. Bai Ning's apricot eyes shone brightly, and the golden light of the jade slip in her hand shone brightly. "Master, I'm here." The spiritual light formula assists the restriction to be broken. Her delicate body jumped up, and the jade slip was thrown towards the protective array. The golden light was injected into the twin forbidden patterns, and the aura of the main building was vortexed into the twin sword array, which backfired with the aftermath of the green flame, and burned the tail of the ghost soldiers with shishi. Qin Feng shouted. "The formation is on. The secret records of the ancient book pavilion. Borrow the power of the yin and yang mirror." The 5 warlocks moved together. The old magician's bone staff was newly refined. The soul lamp was lighted by the black-robed woman. The twin yin and yang beads were spinning. The strong man's ghost talisman was placed on the ground, and the formation was combined with light to take the helm. Fat Zen master and other casual cultivators swarmed forward, using whisks, talismans and lamps to offer sacrifices. The power of the fairy formation. Kill the ghost general. In the bloody battle, the green flame sea retreated by 30%, and Han Xiao's trusted ghost general howled miserably. Retreat. Qingxian's reversal. The business war broke out at the same time. Bai Ning clicked on his tablet like crazy, and his spiritual power was injected into the stock market. The spirit-gathering array turned into mortal stocks, and the family business collapsed. Live broadcast on the screen, the stock prices of the Qin and Zhao clans plummeted in green blood. Shen Qingqing smiled lightly. Swallow half of it. Manager Li licked his tongue. Fairy, the acquisition is completed. Qingxian, the market value is 5 billion. The queen of the city. The family patriarch's suit was soaked in the distance, and Patriarch Qin dropped his cigar and knelt down. The female cultivator is invincible. All the shares are offered. Black market spirit stones poured into the main helm, and the hidden cultivator broadcast. The queen of business war from white-collar worker to overlord. The contrast is at its peak. Han Xiao roared to the sky. Shen Qingqing, this hatred is going to snow. Old ghost Mo Fan, show up. The black clouds split. Mo Fan, black robe and crane hair, came slowly from the void. The golden light of the ancient cave key flashed. He laughed and threw it to Shen Qingqing. The chosen sword cultivator, the third level of the divine covenant, is pre-opened. The key to the cave, the order of the immortal palace, is about to be opened. The key fell into the palm, and the aura sword wing blades in Shen Qingqing's body sounded again. The sword intent sublimated. She flew the sword in the air. Her willow hair fluttered, and Lung Ao's declaration resounded through the ghost town. Han Xiao, green flame ant. Qingxian Chamber of Commerce, I am the only one in heaven and earth, and I am the one who cultivates immortals in the city. The new pattern is determined by me. Everyone knelt down to revel, and the fat Zen master burst into tears. The declaration shocked the soul. Bai Ning threw herself into her arms and screamed, Master is so handsome. Qin Feng handed over his hands with blood. Sword master. Everyone reveled at the helm, and the old warlock served him wine. Fairy celebrates. Bai Ning cackled. Master, the middle part of the map is unlocked. The jade slip was shining with golden light, pointing to the second floor of the cave. The twin restrictions need to be broken by the wing sword. Qin Feng bowed. The order of the immortal mansion is close at hand. Mo Fan sent a message. Wonderful, Shang. Victory, expansion like a tiger. The fat Zen master of Sanxiu raised his glass and said, Long live. Suddenly, the wind blew outside the general rudder, and the black clouds gathered again, and an even louder voice roared. Shen Qingqing, the Qingxian general rudder is fighting. Han Xiao's army is coming. The tsunami of green flames is coming like a tide. The phantom of the 1,000-foot ghost king has red eyes like a blood moon burning the dawn, and the yin qi is like thousands of needles piercing the bones. The clacking sound of the protective array of the main rudder building is like cracking bones. The steel bars are twisting and bending, emitting a metallic scream, and the golden light shield disintegrates into green flames and ashes inch by inch. The hall on the top floor of the high-rise building instantly turned into a windy hell. The black abyss on the floor spread and swallowed up the tables and chairs. The wine slurry froze into green ice and exploded. The air was filled with the stench of rotting corpses. 20 monks knelt down with their legs weak. The fat Zen master's fat body trembled like chaff, and his fat face was twisted with tears and blood flowing. The ghost king descends. The golden elixir peak pressure. Fairy, we have gone from revelry to despair. The chief helmsman die. The thin Taoist priest curled up, his whisk flying away, and his voice shook like a candle in the wind. Han Xiao summoned the ancient ghost king. The sea of green flames is endless, and the foundation is like an ant. He can't run away. The black-robed female sorcerer's soul lamp pop was extinguished. Manager Li's suit was soaked and his trousers were dripping. The flat screen reflected the ghost king's red eyes. He screamed and held his head. The market value of 5 billion instantly dropped to zero. The patriarchs of the 5 major families broadcast live from a distance. The patriarch of Qin dropped his cigar and collapsed. Queen Qingxian? Green Flame, the ghost king, is destroyed with one claw. Qin Fengru's robes were burnt and the pages of the ancient book, Secret Records of the Ghost City, were automatically burned. He held up his staff and shed tears. The secret records say that the ancient ghost king destroyed 3 sects, and Han Xiao borrowed money from the family business to suppress the black market. Our formation method broken. Fairy retreat. Bai Ningxing burst into tears, her face turned pale and she held the jade slip tightly, her golden light dim. Master, The spiritual light technique is empty. The twin restriction backlash has failed. The ghost claw is approaching in the tsunami of green flames. You overturned. Claw shadows scratched the outer wall of the high-rise building. The bang sound of steel bars breaking was deafening, and the fragments smashed into the hall like meteorites. The three casual cultivators were instantly torn apart by the claw wind, and their flesh and blood turned into green mist and floated away. The miserable howl echoed. Fairy! The sect is destroyed. Shen Qingqing's eyebrows were furrowed, and only 80% of the spirit-gathering mist left in her body was swirling wildly. The wings of the spiritual light sword roared low, but the sword's intent was suppressed. She suppressed her momentum first, and the golden light of the cave key in her palm flashed, and she gritted her teeth and shouted. Everyone listen to the order. Retreat from the city workers. Break the bridge in the industry area. The yin-yang mirror protects the formation, and Bai Ning Qin cuts off the rear. She pointed her sword, and the black and white vortex of the yin-yang mirror expanded into a light curtain, barely blocking the aftermath of the claw shadow. The light curtain sunk a few inches with a buzz sound, and the heat wave burned everyone's faces. The fat Zen master had bulging eyes and dragged the cultivator to the elevator. The fairy mirror light blocks the ghost king. From death to life the liver trembles. All the subordinates swarmed to retreat. The 5 warlock soul lanterns were linked, and the black-robed woman burst into tears and held up the mirror. Master escorts the retreat. Yongnu. Outside the tall building, Mo Fan's black robe swelled and he stepped back. His white hair flew into his head and he said, Qingqing, the 3rd level of the Divine Covenant has been launched. The key to protect the soul. Secretly cultivate the golden elixir. Han Xiao is determined to seize the order of the immortal palace and control the pattern of cultivating immortals. Withdraw. Boom! The shadow of the Ghost King's claws finally broke through the mirror light, and half of the top floor of the main rudder collapsed. Shen Qingqing volleyed and flew out, enveloping everyone. The sword wings spread out and carried hundreds of people like meteors as they fell towards the ruins of the broken bridge in the urban industrial zone. Han Xiao's bloody eyes were floating in the sky with a ferocious smile, and thousands of green flame ghost soldiers were chasing after him in the black cloud. Shen Qingqing run away? Green flames flooded the city, and the Qingxian Chamber of Commerce's logistics was paralyzed. Under the neon lights of dawn, ghosts cried and wolves howled on the urban viaduct, and the black fog penetrated into the container fleet. The logistics trucks squeaked to a halt, the tires burst and emitted green flames, and the driver's corpse twisted and crawled out of the eye sockets and bleeds. Ghost curse. Han Xian, please spare your life. The black market spirit stone shipments were cut off, and peacetime the screen of the live broadcast was blood red. The partners turned against each other in a snobbish manner. The former fat manager of Manager Li's old department, wearing a suit and ties, stood in front of the warehouse and sneered at the camera. Queen Qingxian? The Korean alliance gave us double the money, so we defected. Logistics are paralyzed by ghost curses. Black market spiritual stones are stranded, and the stock price will collapse by another 2 billion. The remnants of the 5 Qin and Zhao clans joined forces. Patriarch Zhao has a thin face and a sinister bird of prey, holding a green talisman. Female white-collar dream, corporate encirclement and suppression. Han Xiao Jindan is invincible. At the ruins of the broken bridge, all the cultivators gasped after landing. The fat Zen master sat paralyzed with his fat body, wiping tears with his fat hands. The main rudder was destroyed, the logistics was cut off, the partners rebelled. The Chamber of Commerce was destroyed. The fairy can't hold the golden elixir Ghost King in the middle stage of foundation building. The thin Taoist priest scanned the mist ring with his thin eyes. Going around the broken bridge. Ghost soldiers are lurking in the secret passages in the industrial area. There are only 27 of us casual cultivators. From the Queen's Guard to the desperate. Despair. The black-robed female sorcerer only had a trace of her soul lamp left. She knelt down with a trembling body. Master, the fat manager is snobbishly taunting the live broadcast. Everyone. Chang Yinxiu watched the joke. Qingxian went from the top to the bottom. Manager Li crawled over with weak legs, and the broken screen of the tablet reflected the fat face of the trader. Fairy freight is paralyzed, the black market is cut off, the 5 races have joined forces to attack the equity, and our market value is only 3 billion. Han Xiao strikes back. Bai Ning's little face was pale, and the jade slip's golden light was extinguished. Master, the middle part of the map is stuck, and the twin prohibition needs to be practiced secretly. Qin Feng's ancient book was scorched, his face was twisted and he held the staff. The remaining pages of the secret record. Han Xiao controlled the supernatural to paralyze the whole city, and the immortal mansion ordered the intelligence to be blocked. Shen Qingqing sat upright on the broken bridge and broken wall, her willow hair tousled by the cold wind, the aura sword wings in her body dimmed, and the spirit-gathering bead mist was only 70%. She closed her eyes and meditated quietly. The golden light of the cave key in her palm seeped into her meridians. God's promised third level melt. The key turned into gold liquid and wandered around the dantian like a dragon. The sword power surged, and the bottleneck in the middle stage of the foundation was shattered. The spiritual energy vortex swallowed the mist. Everyone's eyes widened, and the fat Zen master opened his mouth wide. Fairy, close your eyes. The golden elixir aura? From the disadvantage to. For an hour the black fog on the broken bridge was as thick as ink, and the ghost soldier's claws loomed, and the thin Taoist screamed. The hidden cultivation is interrupted. The ghost soldiers are approaching. Shen Qingqing suddenly opened her eyes, and the golden light of the golden elixir exploded, and the dragon scales of the sword fused with the yin and yang mirror beads, and the sword body turned into pure gold fairy light, and she stood up with a cold voice. Logistics ghost curse? The sword pointed at one point, and the immortal light slashed like a golden dragon out of the sea, heading straight towards the elevated logistics hub. The sword light swept hundreds of miles with a buzz. The green flame ghost curse exploded with a pop, the tires of the container fleet spun again, and the black market spiritual stones poured out like a tide. The fat manager broadcast live in front of the warehouse. His suit instantly burned to black, his fat face was twisted and he knelt down and screamed. The immortal light-cutting curse? Queen, spare your life. From snobbish defection to weak legs, we all spit out information. All partners swarmed and kowtowed, and the live broadcast barrage exploded. Qingxian golden pill. The traitor kneels down to lick. The contrast explodes. Everyone on the broken bridge fell silent for a moment, and the fat Zen master had fat eyes. The protruding ball bounced up and roared. Golden elixir fairy light. From despair to ecstasy, the logistics are restored. The Chamber of Commerce is born. The thin Taoist priest slimmed down and bounced, and his voice trembled in admiration. The sword melts the key, the divine power shakes the ghost curse. The liver of the casual cultivator will always tremble. The black-robed female sorcerer burst into tears and licked her boots. Master Gene elixir is unparalleled. From death to slave. The sorcerer intelligence Han Xiaozong's industrial secrets. Bai Ning's apricot eyes shone, and the jade slip in her little hand shone brightly again. She jumped up and called Qin Feng. Master Jin Danfu, solved the last section of the map. Qin Feng held his hands in tears, and the broken pages of the ancient book flew around. Secret record location. Deep in the ghost city at the core of the cave, the order of the immortal mansion is ancient and defiant. The pattern on the jade slip was all bright, and the tail section of the twin prohibition flashed silver, pointing to the end of the black mist. Mo Fan's voice message roared in his mind. Qingqing, the golden elixir chosen one. Han Xiao is ambitious to swallow the order of the immortal mansion, control the pattern of cultivating immortals, and quickly build a separate rudder to recruit hermit cultivators. Shen Qingqing nodded with a smile, and the sword light swept away the fog on the bridge, and the 20 urban hermit cultivators were black in the distance. The shadow appeared, and the original Han cultivator knelt down with a thin face and a pale face. Fairy's golden elixir cuts the curse, accept us. From the mocking girl to the home. With a wave of her jade hand, she established the sect branch at the ruins of the broken bridge. The golden light formation rose, and the black market spiritual stone piled up. The business war escalated. Bai Ning Tablet's spiritual power was injected, and he attacked Han Xiao's enterprise. Master, the equity backfired. Green blood poured out of the screen, and the market value of Han Xiao's companies evaporated by 3 billion. Manager Li licked his tongue wildly. Fairy, the annexation is completed. 8 billion Qingxian, the urban overlord. The leader of the 5 tribes in a suit far away kneeling live broadcast. Queen's golden elixir. The enterprise is dedicated. As night falls, Shen Qingqing flies his sword to explore the ghost city at night. The golden light of the wing blade is like a shooting star. The chasing ghost general attacks the foundation building group.
Kiki Clochedo pounces.
She spins coldly and proudly. The fat Zen master and others followed and yelled, "Slay the pursuers at night. The fairy is invincible." The black-robed woman revealed the information. Han Xiao set an ambush at the end of the secret passage. Shen Qingqing's eyebrows furrowed slightly. The moment the blade of the pure gold immortal light sword touched the layer of silver light, the sword felt as if it had fallen into a mire. The dragon scales buzzed and trembled, and only 70% of the spirit-gathering mist inside was forcibly pulled away by the silver thread. The spiritual energy vortex instantly turned into a swallowing black hole. Her heart sank, and Imo Fan's voice message flashed through her mind. Han Xiao's ambitions setting up an ambush ban. This silver light was not an ordinary ghost spell, but an ancient supernatural formation, specially designed to defeat the sword cultivator's golden elixir. The night wind howled, and the ruins deep in the ghost city were like the whispers of ghosts. The broken walls were covered with green algae-like vines. The smell of rotting bones in the air was so strong that it could not be dissolved. The stone door at the entrance of the cave in the distance was faintly glowing, but it was densely woven into a cage with silver mesh. "Master!" Bai Ning's crisp voice sounded from behind, and she and Qingfeng had already followed. Her face was pale and her almond-shaped eyes were wide-eyed. She held the jade slip tightly in her chest. The spiritual light technique of the zero-stage foundation establishment barely protected her body, but it was suppressed by the silver light and the golden light dimmed inch by inch. Qin Feng's Confucian robe hunted, his bone staff knocked on the ground, and the broken pages of ancient books flew into a screen of light. His face with wet tears twisted. "Fairy, it is recorded in the secret record that this is the silver soul-devouring formation." Han Xiao used the remaining power of the Ghost King to set it up. The 99 silver needles in the formation's eyes are connected to the spiritual veins of the cave. With the movement of the sword energy, the needles explode into the sea of green flames, causing catastrophe. The golden light formation of the broken bridge rudder is still there. Flashing in the rear, Fat Zen Master and other subordinates knelt down at the edge of the black mist far away, their fat bodies trembling and roaring. "Fairy 3 are trapped. We can't advance to the foundation. Our liver and gallbladder are about to burst." The black-robed female sorcerer's eyes were frightened, and her soul lamp flickered. "Master Yin Mang Kujin Dan, Han and Dao's information is all correct. From being invincible at night to falling into a trap, the sorcerer's soul is flying." The silver net suddenly tightened. Buzzing like thousands of bees, the space around Shen Qingqing and the three of them was distorted. The black mist condensed into grimaces and grinned, and the sinister wind scraped the bones like a razor blade. She suppressed the golden elixir spiritual energy, and quickly calculated in her mind. Cut off the formation eye, 70% of the spirit-gathering beads may exhaust 50% of the mist, and the white condensed Qingfeng will be killed in the backlash. Retreat to the subrudder. Han Zhao's green flame ghost army is 10,000 thousands of people are chasing after them. The broken bridge is divided into new rudders, and the mountain of spiritual stones is an easy target. Mo Fan's message has not yet arrived, and the stock market sniper attack behind the Chamber of Commerce may have been launched. In the past, white-collar workers worked overtime at night, but now the golden elixir sword cultivator is forced into a desperate situation by the snobbish ghost cultivator. A chill surges in his heart, but it turns into Lung Ao's murderous intent. "Han Xiao, do you think the silver formation is trapping me? What an ant trick." Before he finished speaking, the black mist exploded, and 3 snobs appeared. The leader was bulging in blood, and the ghost claws at the peak of foundation building were entwined with green flames. The thin-faced villain smiled like a cracked melon. Shen Qingqing, a former urban white-collar woman, falsely called the fairy of the Qing dynasty, King. Immortal Han set up an ambush with his golden elixir and sword light, and the 99 needles connected with the Ghost King's spiritual veins all exploded in one move. "The little girl of yours was so frightened that the jade slip fell to the ground. Haha. She fell into the trap." The fat body swayed and the green beads were strung into a ghost chain and thrown out, locking it to Bai Ning's ankle. "Envy Lu Jie too?" Han Xian had long cut off the end of Hu Tu, and the order of the Dongfu Immortal Palace belongs to him. The three of you, from the peak of the Chamber of Commerce to the waiting to be slaughtered in the formation, kneeling and licking or soul flying. The three ghosts looked at the ghost girl, and the black veil fluttered like a net to cover Qingqing. The ancient warlock? Burn the remaining pages of the secret records, and the 5 tribes of the Korean alliance will live broadcast the whole city to see the joke. The Qingxian is trapped in the silver net, and the economic queen turns into a pig. Bai Ning's face turned pale. The jade slip fell to the ground with a snap, and the golden light was swallowed up by the silver thread. Her apricot tears shone, but she gritted her teeth and picked it up. She said with a little luck, "Master, the formation eye is under the stone door of the cave, and the black mist and silver needles are gathering." "I try." Qingfeng's bone staff tapped wildly, and the runes deduced from ancient books were flying. His scholarly face was pale and dripping with sweat. Weak point. If the silver needle is connected to the spiritual veins, it will collapse if the needle is broken, but the foundation spiritual power is needed. The fairy protects us too. Fat Zen Master's fat eyes bulged in the distance, dragging the cultivator to his knees. "Little girl, you are so smart, we are so desperate. The Queen's golden elixir is hard to break." Manager Lee's tablet live broadcast screen was blood red, and the suit of the leader of the 5 tribes was trembling in the distance. Silver Array live broadcast, "The Queen has fallen. The stock price has collapsed again." The black-robed female sorcerer cried. "Master, the 3 ghosts will join forces to build the foundation, and the green flames will lock the soul. The warlock's information is useless." Shen Qingqing's heart was slightly moved, and the situation that wanted to advance but suppressed was at the bottom. She kept a low profile and did not use the pressure of the golden elixir. She suppressed the momentum to protect the 2 of them. "Ninger Qingfeng, follow the plan. I will block the ghost general, but you will be blind." With enough strength, the wings of the pure gold fairy light sword whispered to protect the body, and the black and white vortex yin and yang mirror light curtain expanded, barely blocking the 3 ghosts from slamming the green flame claw chain. The light curtain was dented by an inch, and the heat wave burned the 3 people's faces. The ghost general's grin intensified, and the thin ghost clawed at the edge of the light screen. In the early stage of the golden elixir, the silver formation defeats the sword, and the spirit gathering beads are 70% depleted. "Let's see you protect the little girl until she dies." The fat ghost whipped Bai Ning with his chain whip, and the charming ghost silk entangled Qingfeng's ancient book. The 2 ghost generals shouted in unison. "Han Xiao has a long word. Kill the 3 people of Qingxian, and reward the fragments of the Immortal Palace Order." Bai Ning's almond-shaped eyes were firm, and her quirky nature exploded. Her small jade slip pierced the black mist ground, and with a buzz sound, the silver light at the end of the twin restriction was reversed, and the spiritual power of the 0 phase of the foundation building of the spiritual light technique penetrated into the silver needle gathering point like a thin thread. "Master, the array I needle gather spirit. Pulse, I will detonate the weak chain." Qingfeng pushed, and the ancient runes were superimposed on the light screen. Secret record of the weak point, the main pulse of the 3 needles, the broken needles all collapsed. The jade slip's golden light penetrated like a needle. The silver formation clicked. The main needle trembled slightly, and the black mist grimace twisted and screamed. The thin ghost's face suddenly changed, and his bloody robes bulged, and he rushed at him with crazy claws. "Little girl, you are clever and bad. Han Xiao will be punished." Shen Qingqing's willow eyes exploded with cold light, and the psychological game was instantaneous. He did not explode all the golden elixirs, but left 70% of the spirit-gathering pearls to prepare for the cave. His sword energy destroyed the ghost general, and he did not kill the whole army to attract Han Xiao. She snorted coldly. "Ant, get out!" In the early stage of the golden elixir, the spiritual energy surged, and the pure gold immortal light sword's winged dragon scales grew 10 feet long. "Hi!" The sword aura was like a golden dragon dancing wildly. It only struck 3 swords without any big slashes. The first sword stabbed the thin ghost between the eyebrows, the green flame shield exploded with a pop, and the blood mist steamed from his head. The body exploded into a green meat pie, and the remaining mouth murmured, "Throw yourself into a trap? Wrong liver tremors." The third sword whirled around the net of charming ghosts, and the black gauze was burned away, and the charming eyes and fearful eyes flew away. Chong Han, the queen is invincible. The three ghosts were about to die instantly. The main needle of the silver array collapsed with a bang. The 99 needles exploded in a chain. The sea of green flame swallowed up the black mist, and the stone door at the entrance of the cave opened with a bang, and the golden light leaked out. Fat Zen Master's fat body bounced up in the distance and roared. 3 swords to slay ghosts. The little girl is quick-witted. The queen's golden elixir kills. From despair to liver and gallbladder explosion. The casual cultivator will always follow. The black-robed female sorcerer burst into tears and crawled closer to lick her boots. The master's sword energy is everywhere. The sorcerer's soul lamp is rekindled, from fear to worship. Qin Feng held his hands in tears, and the ancient book swirled. Fairy Guard Array Doctor. The secret record contains praises, divine calculations. Bai Ning's apricot eyes shined, and she threw herself into the master's arms. Master's psychological depression will explode again. Ninger will love it to death. Inside the stone door, the soul-suppressing bell was suspended, with the Ghost King's remnant soul pattern engraved on its body. The golden light flashed into Shen Qingqing's palm, and the third magic weapon was obtained. Behind the Chamber of Commerce, Missouri Fan, a black-robed crane, found his body broken off the bridge and was at the helm. He sent a message to his brain. Qingqing, the golden elixir of heaven's choice. Han Xiao's stock market sniper. My divine contract backfired, and all his subsidiaries took it all. Bai Ning's flat tablet spiritual power was injected, green blood poured out of the screen, and the market value of Han Xiao's companies evaporated by 4 billion. Manager Li licked his tongue and said, Fairy, the annexation is complete. Qingxian's market value exceeds 102 billion, controlling half of the city's economy, from white-collar workers to overlords. The fat managers of the 5 clans knelt down and vomited. The fat Zen Master's eyes bulged. The business war has turned around. The queen's former boss, Manager Li, is now a slave. The contrast in status is overwhelming. Under the neon lights of the city's high-rise buildings, the golden light of the Qingxian Chamber of Commerce surged into the sky, and the black market spiritual stones surged, and the newly acquired hermits knelt down. Golden Pill Sword Master, the queen of economics. Deep in the ghost city, Han Xiao's blood pupils flickered in the distance, and the green flames dimmed in the black clouds. He escaped with a ferocious smile. Shen Qingqing soul-soothing Zhong Xiaoli, a decisive battle in the cave. I must win the immortal palace, and the pattern of cultivating immortals will return to Korea. The voice rolled like thunder, with residual provocation. Shen Qingqing palmed the soul-suppressing bell. Signs of awakening of the bloodline appeared in the bell. Pure blood sword repair meridians were like fire, and the golden elixir spiritual energy was faintly evolving. She looked into the depths of the stone door with willow eyes and smiled lightly. Han Xiao, Ant Dream. As soon as the bell rang, the cave door was fully opened, and the golden light inside was strong. Suddenly a black shadow beast roared out, and the ultimate guard locked eyes on the 3 of them. Roar, intruders, die! The loud sound of the cave's stone door opening was like the earth shattering, and the golden light inside poured out like a waterfall, illuminating every inch of the ruins of the ghost city. The vines on the broken walls instantly withered and curled, and the rotting wind was mostly dispersed by the aftertaste of the bells. However, the black shadow beast burst out from the depths of the golden light. Its body collapsed like a mountain, its red eyes boiled like lava, and its bloody pupils, which were about 10 feet in diameter, locked onto Shen Qingqing and the others. Its claws tore through the air with a click sound, and the green flame patterns on its scales pulsated, and its roar shook the black mist.
Teng Chenglang, Rohr, Intruder, die.
The giant beast's tail whip swept across, rolling up a hurricane of black mist hundreds of feet, and rushed straight into the white Qin wind. Their spiritual light art and ancient book light screen at the 0 stage of foundation building only lasted for a moment, and then their knees were slightly bent under the pressure of the aftermath, and their pretty faces turned pale and sweaty like rain. Master! Bai Ning's apricot eyes widened, and she held the jade slip tightly with her small hands. The golden light of the spiritual light technique barely protected her body, but was illuminated by the bloody light of the giant beast's red eyes. The foundation building spiritual power was peeled off inch by inch like a candle caught in the strong wind. Her quirky and pretty face was twisted with fear, and her mind flashed back to the night chats between her best friends in the city in the past, but now she was facing the ultimate guard in the abyss of the ghost city, and despair emerged in her heart. This is the blood descendant of the Ghost King. The warning at the end of the map, the red eyes lock the soul. Bill G will die as soon as he stares at him. Qingqing, in his robe, struck the ground with his bone stick and the broken pages of the ancient book flew into a screen of light. His face was as pale as paper with wet tears, and he deduced the runes and trembled. It is recorded in the secret record that the ultimate guard of the cave is the blood-eyed ghost Jiao, and fairy Han Xiao has controlled it. The golden elixir sword energy is difficult to get close to, and the tail whip is a sea of green flames, protecting the two of us. The fat Zen master on the edge of the black mist trembled wildly at the broken bridge in the distance, and the casual cultivator knelt down and roared with heartbreaking words. The three queens can't advance against the blood-eyed ghost dragon Hong. The eyes are wide open, and the heart is bursting with despair. The black-robed female sorcerer's eyes widened in fear, and the soul lamp flickered. Master has a new soul-suppressing bell, 80% of the soul-gathering beads, and the giant beast gold-killing pill. From the moment the silver formation broke to being trapped in the mouth of the dragon, the sorcerer's soul was shattered. Shen Qingqing's willow eyebrows stood up, and there were faint signs of evolution of pure blood sword cultivator's golden elixir spiritual energy, like fire burning through her meridians. Her heart sank. The soul-suppressing bell's ancient body, the Ghost King's remnant soul pattern buzzed to suppress the supernatural beings around her, and the mist of the spirit-gathering bead was 80% recovered. However, she encountered Han Xiao's remote control of the blood-eyed ghost dragon, and suppressed the momentum to protect his teammates. With a little jade, the aura sword wings and dragon scales unfolded with a low sound, the black and white vortex-like curtain of the yin-yang mirror expanded 10 feet, and the bell rang. Buzz? The soul-soothing wave hit the giant beast's red eyes like an invisible giant hammer, barely blocking the bang impact of the green flames of the tail whip. She said coldly. Ning or Qingqing, step back 3 feet. Don't rush to break the ban. I'll suppress the dragon's power first. The psychological game was instantaneous. All 3 weapons were exploded into one. 60% of the spirit-gathering beads were probably used up, and the core immortal order of the cave was not obtained. The bell shook the dragon's eyes, and the sword energy lit up the blood pupils, attracting Han Xiao to show up for a decisive battle. Deep in the black mist, Han Xiao's blood pupils flashed, and the dim green flames of the remnants of the army emerged from the black clouds. The ambition of the ghost cultivator in the early stage of his golden elixir distorted his face. He led the 3 major ghost generals and the snobbish alliance of the remnants of the 5 tribes to break into the cave half a step ahead. The leader of the ghost generals, iron armor and blood wings, broke into the peak of the foundation building. He smiled cruelly. Shen Qingqing, I'm here late. Step. The silver formation drags you. Our army enters the cave and sets up the 9 nether blood formation. The prototype of the immortal mansion is returned to Han. Are you a former white-collar girl who falsely claims to be the queen of economics? You are scared to death when you see the little girl building the foundation of Qingqing. The blood-eyed ghost dragon swallows the soul. Fu Jingguang. The market value of the Qingxian Chamber of Commerce is 12 billion? The 5 tribes of the Han Alliance live broadcast throughout the city to retreat. The queen is trapped in the mouth of the dragon. From invincible to a pig, she kneels and licks the immortal or her soul flies away. 3 ghosts will shadow the enchantress, and the black shadow screen covers the stone door. Half of the ban on our army at the core of the cave has been broken, and the immortal man ordered Han Xian to be in the palm. Your golden elixir sword can't defeat Jiaowei. Business war? All my subsidiaries are vomiting. And the stock market crashes live broadcast. Managerly broadcast a blood-red broadcast from a distance, and the fat patriarch of the 5 tribes trembled in his suit and laughed wildly. So what if the silver formation breaks, the queen is 1 step late, and the stock price is worth another 4 billion, and the dream of the Qingxian overlord is shattered? The fat Zen master's fat eyes bulged in the distance, dragging the cultivators to kneel down in the black mist. The 3 ghosts will sneer and mock. The blood dragon's red eyes lock the soul. We cultivators are desperate and trembling. The queen suppresses the dragons to protect the disciples, from the peak to the bottom. The black-robed sorceress crawled on the ground and burst into tears. Master's 3 weapons are not combined: the dragon flames, the green sea burns, the golden elixir. The warlock's intelligence is useless, the fierce soul lamp is extinguished. Bai Ning's tears flashed, gritted his teeth and picked up the jade slip. Master, the dragon's eyes are connected to the Korean bloodline, and my twins are banned for trial. Qingfeng's bone staff knocked wildly, and the light screen runes were flying. Weakness. The dragon's pupil is green core, and the broken core is remote-controlled. Collapse, but Zhong Mingfu is needed. Han Xiao's black eyes smiled ferociously. Qingqing, you ant. The 9 nether blood formation of the cave mansion has come to me, and the immortal cultivation pattern has returned to Korea. You 3 are fat. Desire to rise was first suppressed to the extreme. Shen Qingqing's heart was filled with murderous intent like a sword. She was cold and arrogant and despised the ordinary powerful people like an ant. She shouted, Han Xiao, do you think the blood dragon traps me? The snobbish alliance, destroy it. The golden elixir spiritual energy surged, and the divine appointment was the first. The key to the 3rd level cave abode buzzed to activate, and the lines of the Ghost King's remnant soul on the body of the ancient soul-suppressing bell spun wildly. Dang dang dang. The 3 bells rang like thunder from the sky. The invisible soul-suppressing wave expanded 100 feet, and the blood-eyed ghost dragon's red eyes trembled with green flames. Rewinding, the roar of the giant beast turned into a miserable howl. The scales cracked and black blood spurted out. The 3 ghosts exploded the iron-armored blood wings. The bone-spurred ghost prince broke with the green bone whip. The shadowy female ghost burned in the black shadow web. The 3 ghosts instantly shattered into green blood and black mist, and the remaining souls wailed, Han Xiao. From Mocking Queen to Zhongming Hun Fei. Wrong. The stone door of the 9 nether blood array collapsed with a roar, and the golden light leaked out more intensely. Han Xiao's black cloud exploded and his face twisted. It's impossible for the soul-suppressing bell to defeat the blood descendant of the Ghost King. The side of the background exploded, and the fat Zen master's fat body bounced up and roared. 3 tones of the bell shattered the ambush. The 3 ghosts will destroy the snobbish alliance. The queen is invincible. From despair to bursting of liver and gallbladder, the casual cultivator will always follow the golden elixir sword master. The black-robed female sorcerer's eyes flashed, and she crawled closer to lick the ground. The master's bell waves are everywhere. The sorcerer's soul lamp is burning wildly, from fear to adoration licking boots. Qingfeng held his hands in tears, ancient books flying. Fairy's 3-weapon game. There is no secret record of divine arithmetic. Bai Ning's almond-shaped eyes burst into her arms with excitement. Master's bell burst out, Ninger's invincible posture. Shen Qingqing volleyed the sword. The pure gold fairy light sword's wing blade dragon scale grew 20 feet. The soul-gathering beat 80% of the mist surged. The black and white vortex of the yin-yang mirror merged into the sword body. The soul-suppressing bell soul pattern superimposed on the sword wing. The 3 weapons were combined into one fairy light soul-suppressing slash. The sword energy is like a golden dragon coiling around Zhongbua. The sea of pure gold light rises to the sky, and the forbidden Kara, in the depths of the cave, is shattered, reaching the core. The twin bands on the white jade slips were completely lifted, and with the help of runes from Qingfeng's ancient books, the 2 teamed up with the golden light screen to penetrate into the core golden palace. Master, the prototype of the immortal mansion order. In the golden palace, the simple jade order was suspended, with the word immortal mansion engraved on it, and the spiritual energy swirling around the body was like a galaxy hanging upside down. With a move of Shen Qingqing's jade hand, the order of the immortal palace came into his palm. The pure bloodsword cultivator's bloodline awakened and surged. The golden elixir spiritual energy erupted like a volcano boom, and the meridians were reshaped and rushed straight to the nascent soul realm. Golden light shot up into the sky, the black fog of the ghost town dispersed, the red-eyed giant beast's blood eyes burst, and its remaining body turned into green flames and flew away. Han Xiao's face was slim, his blood-stained eyes widened, and the green flames were exhausted as he fled from the black clouds. Nascent soul, impossible. Queen Qingxian. The business war was won at the same time. Mo Fan, black-robed and crane-haired, teleported and appeared outside the cave at the helm of the broken bridge. The sound blasted his brain like thunder. Qingqing, the heavenly chosen nascent soul. The fourth level of the divine covenant is activated. I will counterattack Han Xiao's entire industry. The Qingxian Chamber of Commerce will lead urban cultivation. The market value exceeds 30 billion. The black market spirit stones are all under control. The 5 tribes plus Korean remnants plus the urban recluse are all back. Manager Li was drooling with green blood and licking his tongue wildly. Fairy, all the slaves of the Korean enterprise have been taken away. Kneel down, the overlord of Qingxian. The half-city economy plus immortal cultivation pattern. The fat Zen master knelt down wildly with his fat eyes protruding. The business war is reversed, the queen nascent soul is volleying, and she is the only one in the sky and the earth. The suit of the patriarch of the 5 clans was torn and he knelt down. Earth. The snobbish alliance is destroyed. Han Xiao is an ant. We have fat bodies and trembling livers and surrender to Yongnu. The black-robed female sorcerer burst into tears, and the black market hermits knelt down with golden light. Nascent soul sword saint economic fairy queen, worship to the sky. Shen Qingqing looked down at Han Xiao's black clouds from the sky. The prototype of the immortal palace was flourishing with golden light, and the nascent soul was as powerful as a mountain. She smiled coldly and arrogantly, and her voice resounded through the ghost city. Han Xiao, the ambitious ghost cultivator in the past, is now a dying ant. The Qingxian Chamber of Commerce leads the urban immortal cultivators. The situation has reversed, and your alliance will be wiped out. Everyone surrendered. Everyone roared and cheered, and the fat Zen master was ecstatic. The queen declares that she is invincible, and San Zia Hunfei worships her. Qin Feng kowtows with tears. The sage of swordsmanship, the secret record will last forever. Bai Ning's apricot eyes glowed and he embraced the master. Master Yuanying explodes and Ninger's best friend will always be with you. Han Xiao's dark shadow retreated suddenly. His bloody eyes said with hatred, Ancient Ghost King, surrender. On the seabed of green flames, black clouds condensed the shadow of the Ghost King thousands of feet tall. With red eyes like the blood moon, an Yin Qi soared into the sky. The main rudder protective formation cracked again, and the ghost claws covered the sky and pressed down. Deep in the ghost city, Han Xiao's blood pupils flashed in the black mist, and he whispered, Restriction trap activate. Shen Qingqing enter the trap. The silver light restriction quietly opened, and the dark wind howled at the entrance of the cave. Shen Qingqing's sword tip touched the silver light, and he suddenly felt the sword's intention stagnant. This is. In the golden palace at the core of the cave, the rumbling sound of earth veins bursting like thousands of ghosts crying together, endless black shadows pouring out from the abyss. The ghost emperor's red-crowned bloody claws stretched hundreds of feet, the tips of the claws dripping with green flame poisonous blood, so hot that the jade bricks of the golden palace sizzled and melted into black pits. The remnant souls of the ghosts around him wailed and spiraled into blood clouds. The air was compressed and solidified into lead, and the spiritual energy vortex reversed into a soul-swallowing black hole. Shen Qingqing's nascent soul's golden light first condensed, and the rudimentary jade palm of the immortal palace buzzed to protect the body. However, the ghost emperor waved his blood claws, and a black wind of hundreds of feet came like a mountain collapse. The dome of the golden palace was filled with rubble like rain, and the sword-winged dragon's scales barely spread out to block the heat. Her red eyebrows were scalded, her meridians ached like burning, and her heart sank. The ghost emperor was half awake. Han Xiao controlled the bloodline. The immortal order was still unmelted. The magic weapon was on the verge of being 3-in-1, and the spirit-gathering pearl was 80% full of mist, but it was difficult to fill it up. Bai Ning's apricot eyes widened, and the golden glow of the Zero Foundation establishment's spiritual light technique was extinguished. The small jade slip in her hand trembled and fell to the ground. Her pretty face was as white as paper. She was so weird that her knees thumped and hit the ground. Tears welled up. Master! The red crown of the ghost emperor. The map finally warns that all ghosts will swallow the blood of the nascent soul. Han Xiao deep in the remote control. We have gone from the joy of seizing the order to the abyss of despair. Qin Feng's robe was torn, the remaining pages of the ancient book were burned to ashes, the bone staff was broken, his pale face was filled with tears, and the deduction runes collapsed. The secret records are all recorded. The ghost emperor's ancient remnant spirit is controlled by Han Xiao Hun's silk. The sun retreats, the bloody claws and the sea of green flames. The golden core foundation building soul flies. The bridge is broken in the distance, and the livers and gallbladders of the subordinates of the Qingxian Chamber of Commerce are bursting at the edge of the black mist. The fat Zen master's fat body trembles and he kneels, his fat eyes bulge and roar. The Queen of Ghosts is awakened. The Queen's nascent soul is newly formed, and with a wave of the red crown we swallow the black clouds. He couldn't advance in the foundation building. He was defeated in the Shang dynasty and was in despair. The black-robed female sorcerer's eyes widened in fear, and her soul lamp went out into black smoke. She crawled to the ground and burst into tears. The master's magic weapon is not fully melted. The Ghost Emperor's sword repairs the bloodline, and the sorcerer's information is useless. From worship to fear. In the afterimage of the black cloud deep in the cave, Han Xiao's thin face was twisted with hatred, and the green flames of his blood pupils flickered at the end. His ambition of golden elixir ghost cultivating was not extinguished, and he controlled the Ghost Emperor's blood claws to laugh wildly. Shen Qingqing, are you an ant trying to defy heaven? The immortal mansion is a pediatrician, and the Ghost Emperor's soul thread has melted long ago. The red-crowned blood cloud swallows up your soul. The former white-collar woman kneels down to beg for mercy or her soul flies away. The remnants of the Qingxian Chamber of Commerce counterattack. The stock market crashes. You go from the economic queen to the Ghost Emperor. And the belly is fat. He licked his tongue wildly but his voice trembled. Han Xiao has a divine plan. The Ghost Emperor is suppressing the realm. The queen is one step late, and her former boss witnessed, from being a slave to kneeling and offering you to watching your soul fly away. The suit of the fat patriarch of the 5 tribes was torn, and his fat body and liver trembled as he knelt wildly. Although the snobbish alliance is destroyed, Han Xiao is a ghost. Imperial escort, we are fat and desperate. Queen Nascent Soul cannot resist the blood cloud. Mo Fan's black-robed crane teleported across the bridge, his eyebrows furrowed and his voice trembling. Qingqing, the 4th-level guardian spirit of the gods, the Ghost Emperor's remaining power is too strong. The business war is temporarily stable, and the Korean Remnant Party's backlash needs to be suppressed. Shen Qingqing's willow eyebrows stand upright. Lung Ao's murderous intent is like a sword roaring in her heart. She despises Han Xiao's worldly ambitions like dust. Her jade palm tightly grasps the immortal mansion order. The simple jade order's golden light shines The key to the cave is about the 4th level of madness turning around. The dragon scales on the wing of the aura sword suddenly grew 30 feet long. The black and white vortex of the yin and yang mirror swirled wildly. Into the sword body 90% of the mist of the spirit gathering beads surged in. The soul-suppressing Bell Ghost King's remnant soul pattern was superimposed on the sword wings. The 5 weapons merged together with a loud boom, and the pure gold female fairy sword was completed. The sword body appeared like the shadow of a female fairy. Golden light shot up hundreds of feet into the sky. Yuanying spiritual energy poured out like a galaxy. The Ghost Emperor's red crown and bloody claws cracked, black clouds and bloody wind rolled back, and all the ghosts wailed and howled. Dang! Bush boom! The female fairy waved her sword, and the sea of golden swords hung upside down like the Milky Way, sweeping across the remnants of the enemy. The green flames of the broken bridge and the remaining Korean party exploded. The ghost soldiers around Fat Zen Master flew into ashes, and the flesh and blood of the traitors of the 5 tribes were incinerated. Manager Lee's tablet shattered and Fat Tongue shrank. Fairy sword. From ridicule to liver gallbladder explosion. The side effects exploded in the audience. Bai Ning's apricot eyes widened and jumped into ecstasy. Her little hand picked up the jade slip and trembled with excitement. Master's female fairy sword melts 5 weapons. Ninger's ancient spirit's heart and liver exploded. The Ghost Emperor's bloody claws split. From despair to worship, invincible love to death master. Qin Feng's bone staff reorganized, and the broken pages of the ancient book burst into tears, and he kowtowed with his hands. The Sage of Swordsmanship, the secretly recorded female immortal sword. The Yuanying sword suppressed the Ghost Emperor, and Qin Fengyong followed. Her fat eyes protruded and her liver and gallbladder ecstatically said. The Queen's fairy sword swept across, and the remaining enemies were reduced to ashes. The casual cultivators were so frightened that their souls flew away and paid tribute. Yongnu Golden Pill. No nascent soul sword saint. The black-robed sorceress's charming eyes shone, and the soul lamp rekindled and licked the ground wildly. Face. The master's 5 weapons are combined with the female fairy. The sorcerer's charming bones surrender, from soul destruction to licking boots and worshipping the sky. The leader of the 5 tribes was fat and torn off his clothes and knelt wildly. Snobbish and fat body is wrong, the queen is invincible, the Korean remnant party is destroyed, we will forever dedicate our enterprise. Shen Qingqing volleyed the queen's fairy sword in the air. The sword energy of pure gold shadows spread across the sky. The ghost emperor's black shadow and red crown exploded. The blood claws and the sea of green flames burned into ashes, and the blood cloud of thousands of ghosts exploded into black mist. She said coldly, "The remaining power of the ghost emperor, suppress it." The golden light of the immortal mansion suppressed. Qin Feng assisted the ancient runes to spin into a sealed light network. The twin restrictions on the white jade slips were completely lifted, and the blood-red conspiracy finally emerged on the map. Master. Han Xiao controls the entire urban supernatural map. The source of the Ghost City barrier is his soul silk network. 10 years of supernatural events are all his ambitions. To swallow the black market spirit stones in the city. To control the 5 clans' enterprises to block the shortcut to immortality. Deep in the dark clouds, Han Xiao's face twisted in despair, and the green flames in his blood pupils were extinguished. He screamed and regretted. Shen Qingqing. The female fairy sword defeated the ghost emperor, my ambition. From controlling supernatural beings to dying ants, I mistakenly believed in the bloodline. Escaping into the deeper black abyss of the cave, the remnants of the soul reverberated. Mo Fan teleported to the Golden Palace with crane hair and black robes, and the final upgrade of the business agreement started buzzing, and the voice of the divine light body protection was like thunder. Qingqing, the chosen female fairy. The 5th level of the divine agreement. The soul is immortal, the business war is completely won. All Korean remnant party enterprises have taken over. The black market spiritual stones of the 5 tribes are 35 billion. The Qingxian Chamber of Commerce will dominate the urban immortal cultivation economy. Qingxian Chamber of Commerce is affiliated with Ko Yangjin outside the hall. Hundreds of disciples knelt on the ground, and 17 thin Taoist priests and female cultivators shouted in unison. The Queen's immortal sword, the sect has grown to hundreds of disciples. From white-collar workers to heaven and earth, I am the only one who dominates. Manager Lee's fat knee hit the ground, and the former snobbish boss is now a slave licking wildly. Fairy, all Korean enterprises are dedicated. In the past they deducted salary and mocked the enterprise to the point of kneeling and licking the enterprise, and half of the city's economy is permanently controlled. Shen Qingqing withdrew the light of his sword and returned to the main helm of the high-rise building in the city. Under the neon lights of the night, the female fairy sword concealed its jade fingers. The nascent soul was oppressive and despised the common people. She smiled lightly and looked down at the hundreds of kneeling disciples. Qingxian sect, unite the cultivators of immortals. Han Xiao's remnant soul, chase him to the end. Bai Ning's almond-shaped eyes glowed and she hugged the master's waist. She smiled strangely. Master Ninger has solved the whole plan of the urban supernatural. After all, the best friend of the Queen of Shangzhan will always be with you. Qin Feng kowtowed with tears. The secret record of the saint is complete, and the seal will remain powerful forever. The fat Zen master led hundreds of disciples to worship. The queen's status is completely different, from being snobbish in the company to being worshipped by thousands of people, forever. The black-robed female sorcerer knelt down in a charming manner. The sorcerer has hundreds of new disciples, and she admires the female fairy. On the top floor of a high-rise building in the city, the Chamber of Commerce Hall was brightly lit. The heads of the 5 clans in suits knelt down to present equity documents. The market value soared by 40 billion. The blackboard flashed. Manager Lee's fat hands trembled as he handed over the key to the last subsidiary of the Korean Remnant Party. Fairy, unify the business war. In the past, white-collar workers had their wages deducted. Today, half of the city has power. Kneel down and lick. Shen Qingqing tapped her feet, and the female fairy's sword power suppressed the whole audience. Everyone shouted in trembling admiration. Fairy Qing, I am the only one who respects you. Mo Fan smiled and said, The final promise of the gods. Han Xiao's remnant soul hides a heaven-defying treasure deep in the cave. Prepare for the final boss battle. In the main hall of the urban high-rise building, the night is like ink pouring, and the neon lights seep in from the floor-to-ceiling windows, reflecting the crystal chandeliers with thousands of broken lights, and scattering on the metal floor like a galaxy of debris. The air was filled with the spiritual fragrance of burning incense, mixed with the ink fragrance of the equity documents that had just been handed over. The blackboard with a market value of 40 billion flashed green and beat like the pulse of a heart. Hundreds of new disciples knelt in a circle. The black-robed warlock lowered his eyes seductively. The thin Taoist priest had trembling gray hair. The suit of the leader of the 5 clans was wrinkled and stuck to the floor. The fat Zen master leaned forward with his greasy body, and his liver and gallbladder were still recalling the lingering power of the female fairy sword's golden light rising into the sky. Manager Lee held the key to the Korean Remnant Party's subsidiary company in his fat hand. His former snobbery was reduced to a pinpoint. His tongue unconsciously licked his lips, and his voice shook like chaff. Fairy. Half of the city's economy lies in the palm of my hand. I used to deduct your salary, but I, Fatty Lee, will kneel down and lick it to atone for my sins in this life. Shen Qingqing sat on the throne of the chief helm, with the pure gold female fairy sword hidden between her fingers, the golden light of the nascent soul looming, her willow eyebrows raised lightly, her cold and arrogant eyes sweeping across the audience, scorning the ordinary dignitaries like ants. A sense of accomplishment surged through her heart like a warm current. She went from working as a 9-to-5 white-collar worker to being the queen of the Qingxian sect tonight. With one sword, she reversed the pattern of urban immortal cultivation. Han Xiao's ambition was wiped out. The remaining power of the Ghost Emperor was sealed. The meridians of pure sword cultivators buzzed, and she faintly sensed the call of heaven-defying chants deep in the cave. Bai Ning's quirky little face was close to the master's waist. Her almond-shaped eyes curved into crescent moons, and she squeezed the jade slip with her excited hands. Master Ninger has unlocked the final blood-red conspiracy, and the full picture of Han Xiao's 10 years of supernatural manipulation has been exposed. The ghost city has a soul silk screen. He has swallowed the black market spirit stones to control the 5 races, blocked the shortcuts to immortality, and his ambition is against the heavens. The Chamber of Commerce is unified tonight, and Ninger loves the invincible master to death. Qin Feng's Confucian robes were bundled up, and the owner of the ancient book pavilion held up his hands with tears still in his eyes. The bone staff tapped the floor lightly and the runes flickered. The Saint Fairy Sword. The secret record will be completed forever. The Ghost Emperor's seal of the light net is stable. Han's remnant soul escapes into the abyss. The ancient golden coffin cracks the golden ghost energy. Qin Feng deduces, the secret method of ascension is hidden deep in the cave. Preparing for the end. Mo Fan stood in the hall with a black robe and black hair, making a divine appointment with the 5th level gold. Rings circled his fingertips, and the immortal halo protected his body. He stretched his eyebrows and his voice was as melodious as an ancient bell. Qingqing, the chosen female fairy, the divine covenant has finally begun. The business war has been completely won. 35 billion spiritual stones from the 5 races have poured into the black market. The Korean Remnant Party's enterprises have evaporated, and the market value will exceed 50 billion soon. The sects are integrated, hundreds of disciples are building foundations, the warlocks and the army are dead, and we are preparing for the decisive battle in the depths of the cave. The hall was filled with cheers. The fat Zen master raised his fat body and shouted, "Queen Fairy!" From being snobbish in the company to being worshipped by thousands of people, Yongnu's liver and gallbladder will explode. The black-robed female sorcerer twisted her waist obsequiously, her soul lamp swaying and shining. Hundreds of flattering disciples licking boots and worshipping the fairy sword. The warlock's information is complete. Donate. The heads of the 5 tribes pushed each other and knelt down to worship. All the enterprises are dedicated, and the economic queen of half the city is the only one. Shen Qingqing stood up with a smile as mellow as wine, and tapped the armrest of the throne lightly with her jade feet. The sword intention of the female fairy suppressed the whole audience, and everyone's spine shivered, and the worship enthusiasm became more intense. The soothing atmosphere was like a spring breeze blowing on my face, but suddenly I heard a muffled sound of buzz in the night sky outside the window. The neon lights dimmed suddenly, the green light of the equity blackboard flashed and stopped, the dark wind rolled up from the high-rise buildings in the city in the distance, the black mist hovered like an ink dragon, and the supernatural aftermath broke out. Manager Li's fat face turned pale, his mobile phone was dinging wildly, and the livestock market barrage exploded. The Qingxian Chamber of Commerce collapsed. The remnant Korean party counterattacked, and the fringe snobbish families of the 5 ethnic groups joined forces with the remnant soul of Han Xiao to block the ghost town barrier, paralyzed logistics, and cut off the supply of spiritual stones on the black market. The fat Zen master's fat eyes bulged, and his liver trembling with fear. Queen! Han Xiao controlled the abyss, and the ghost energy of the ancient golden coffin leaked out. He swallowed the ghost emperor's essence and turned into a demon cultivator. The remaining snobbish fat family in Liandu City finally counterattacked. The cave is blocked, and the sect's hundreds of disciples have built a foundation that is difficult to enter. From celebration to the abyss of despair, the fat body explodes in fear. Bai Ning's apricot eyes widened, the jade slip trembled and fell to the ground, Gu Ling's little face turned pale. Master! The map is a blood-red warning, Han Xiao's soul silk is rekindled, the demonic ambition explodes, and the remnant family is controlled to block the entrance to the cave. The black mist swallows the spirit stone veins, and the economic lifeline of our Chamber of Commerce is cut off. The golden elixir skyrocketed, and the snobbish clan leader of the alliance set up a supernatural restriction net, blocking the chance of ascension in the depths of the cave. Saints and foundation-building warlocks cannot enter, from loyalty to fear. Mo Fan furrowed his eyebrows, his black robe fluttered, and the divine golden ring trembled slightly. Qingqing, the soul protection body is stable, but the remnants of the party are counterattacking fiercely. The stock market live broadcast collapsed. Half of the city's enterprises were shaken, and the Korean demon's ambition to control the supernatural blocked our escape. Yu Yang was suppressed to the bottom first. The knees of the hundreds of disciples in the hall plopped and hit the ground. The thin Taoist priest shook wildly with gray hair. The black-robed sorcerer's eyes were frightening. Half of the soul lamp went out with a pop, and the fat Zen master's fat body was limp and roared. Queen from the female fairy soared soaring into the sky to the demonic cultivation realm. The sect's liver and gallbladder exploded in despair. The suit of the leader of the 5 clans was soaked through. The fat bodies collided with each other and cried. The snobbish remnant party united with South Korea. Our fat family had already surrendered, but was controlled by the evil spirit to counterattack, and the company's equity was drained. We kneeled down and begged the queen to be invincible. Manager Li's fat tongue tightened, and his former boss was now a slave. He pissed in fear. Fairy Han Can's live broadcast mocked you for being a woman with no roots. From kneeling and licking you to watching the Chamber of Commerce collapse. Shen Qingqing's willow eyebrows stood upright. Lung Ao's murderous intent was like the sound of a sword. Her contempt for Han Xiao's demonic ambition was like dust. She flicked her jade finger. The female fairy sword buzzed, and a pure golden shadow appeared. The sword-winged dragon scales grew 50 feet long, and the golden light shot into the sky and pierced the black fog of the night. The spiritual energy of the nascent soul pours out like a river of stars, the bloodline awakens and buzzes at its peak. The meridians reshape and the power of pure sword cultivation surges wildly. The golden light of the immortal mansion merges into the sword body. The key of the cave is the 5th-level immortal soul protection body. The sword is swung with a bang, and the sea of golden swords hangs upside down like the Milky Way, sweeping across the night sky of the city. The black mist ink dragon cracked open, the residual family's supernatural forbidden network flew away. The ghost town barrier boomed, and shattered into black smoke. The green light on the blackboard of the stock market soared by 50 billion. The logistic spirit stone veins reopened, and the black market poured in gold. The side effects exploded in the audience. Bai Ning's apricot eyes widened and jumped into ecstasy. Her little hands picked up the jade slips and trembled with excitement. Master's female fairy sword can break through all kinds of magic. Ninger outsmarted Han's weak point. The blood-red picture reveals the flaw in the demonized soul thread. The ancient spirit's heart is fried, from despair to worship and love to death. Her jade slips were spinning, and the twin prohibitions locked onto the weakness of Han Xiao's demonic core, and she accurately transmitted the message to the whole sect. The demonic cultivator borrowed the ghost emperor's essence to break 90% of the soul silk, and the female fairy sword defeated it to the end. Qin Feng's bone staff reorganized, and the broken pages of the ancient book burst into tears again, and the runes flew, spinning the ultimate formation. The saint's sword breaks the blockade. The Qin Feng formation protects the sect, and the secret records deduce the deep path. And you will always be invincible. The fat Zen master bounced up his fat body and roared and knelt down, his fat eyes protruding from his liver and gallbladder in ecstasy. The queen slaughtered the coalition forces with one sword. The fat patriarch of the remnant family, Lu the flames exploded, and the sect's Yonu Yuanying swordmaster went from fear to death. The black-robed female sorcerer's eyes glowed, and the soul lamp was fully ignited and licked the ground. Master's sword sea swept across, the sorcerer's charming army's intelligence poured in, and the charm exploded from the soul to the licking of boots. Mo Fanha laughed, his black robe teleported to the side of the throne, and the divine golden ring was injected into Qingqing's eyebrows. The divinely chosen fairy, the divine covenant teaches the secret method of ascension. The depth of the cave is a heaven-defying opportunity. The peak of the bloodline senses the gold coffin treasure, and the Korean devil is an ant. In the distant night sky, the snobbish and fat patriarch of the Korean Disabled Alliance Army's suit was incinerated, and his body was fat. Their flesh and blood flew into ashes and they roared before death. Han Xian's long demonization is useless. The Queen Fairy Sword. The snobbish alliance went from counterattack to soul flying. Manager Li hit his fat knee on the ground, and the tablet relit and the market value soared. The fairy sword defeats all methods, the Chamber of Commerce fully controls the economic lifeline, and the former boss witnessed half of the city kneeling and licking the eternal control. Han Xiao's thin face was twisted with resentment, the last green flame of his blood pupils flashed, and he roared back at the end of his life. Shen Qingqing. Immortal Mansion orders Xiaoli. The Ghost Emperor revives, the magic weapon duels, my soul is immortal. The black cloud exploded, and the earth veins rumbling deep in the core of the cave mansion shook violently. Deep in the black abyss of the cave, Han Xiao's thin face whispered bitterly. Shen Qingqing. The treasure that defies the heaven, my soul is immortal. I will fight for the last time. The black shadow slowly condensed, and an ancient golden coffin cracked open. Golden light and ghostly aura intertwined. Shen Qingqing wielded her sword in the air. Her golden light converged and she pointed back. The nascent soul suppressed the whole audience and she said softly, integrate the sects and prepare for the deep war. Bai Ning Qin Feng, Mo Fan will follow me, and hundreds of disciples will guard the city. The peak of bloodline awakening was like fire. She sensed the call of heaven-defying chants in the abyss of the cave, and the golden light of the golden coffin became more powerful. Everyone roared to die, and Bai Ning hugged her waist and smiled. Master lock all Ninger's weaknesses and outwit the demon core.
Qin Feng's formation flag unfolded, ultimate formation protection.
Mo Fan nodded with his eyebrows. The secret method of ascension is revealed. Han Mo is waiting to die. At the entrance to the deep black abyss of the cave, the night wind is like the cry of thousands of ghosts, and the cold and biting black mist wraps around the stone wall like a living thing, swallowing up all the brilliance. The 1,000-year-old stone arch cracked into pieces, revealing a bottomless abyss. The vines on the cliff wall squirmed like blood, and green pus dripped and corroded the rock, making a sizzling sound. The ancient golden coffin was suspended in the heart of the abyss. The lid of the coffin was completely cracked, golden light and ghost energy intertwined into a tornado. The roar shook the earth and rubble poured down like rain. Han Xiao's thin face twisted into a devil. His blood-red pupils were blazing with green flames. After devouring the ghost emperor's essence, his demonic body soared 10 feet. His bone spurs were like spinous dragon armor, and his black scales squirmed. The demonic energy turned into 1,000 soul thread whip shadows, whipping around the sky, tearing the void and emitting explosive thunder. He laughed wildly and his voice was like the chorus of all ghosts. Shen Qingqing, are you a female white-collar worker trying to defy heaven? The final form of the demon cultivator. The essence of the ghost emperor merges with the peak of my golden elixir, and the soul silk net locks the cave. The order of the immortal mansion? The secret method of ascension? It all belongs to me, Han Xiao. with the ambition to swallow up the city's cultivators, and the structure of the Chamber of Commerce will be wiped out. Shen Qingqing wields the sword in the air. The female fairy sword protects the body with golden light, and the spiritual pressure of the nascent soul is like a mountain holding down the abyss. However, he feels the black mist seeping into the meridians. The awakening hum of the blood vessels is blocked. The sword-winged dragon scales only stretch 30 feet, and the mist of the spirit-gathering beads is 90% stagnant. Bai Ning's almond-shaped eyes were horribly rounded. Her little face was pale and she clung to her master's jade arm. The jade slips in her ancient spirit hands trembled. Master! 90% of the magic core and soul threads were broken but rekindled. The essence of the ghost emperor complemented the weakness. The black mist swallowed the spiritual energy, and Ninger's restraint could not be locked. From invincibility to the pressure of magic, my heart exploded. Qingfeng hunted in Confucian robes, half of the runes of the bone staff collapsed, and the broken pages of the ancient book were burned and tears surged. Saint! The secret record contains the black gold demon shadow in the golden coffin. It is the ghost emperor himself, and the Korean demon uses his power to become a god. The ultimate array protector is shattered, and Qin Feng's deductive path is cut off. From the sage of swordsmanship to the fear of flying souls. Mo Fan's black robes fluttered, and the divine golden ring trembled slightly and his eyebrows locked. Qingqing, the immortal soul, protects the body, but the ghost emperor's remaining power surges. The ambition of the Korean demon rises through the coffin, and the fate of the cave abode seals us. The business war is all in vain, from the chosen female fairy to the abyss. Wanting to rise, he first suppressed it to the extreme valley, and the demonic energy burst out in the black abyss. Han Xiaohuan's silk whip rushed like 10,000 pythons. Snap! Smashing the huge boulders on the cliff wall, and smashed them at everyone. The white jade slip clicked to pieces, and the small body was swept away by the shadow of the whip. It hit the wall and spurted blood. Gu Ling's almond-shaped eyes turned white in despair. Master! Ninger failed to outwit me, and the magic net swallowed me. Qin Feng's bone staff broke, the ancient books were burned, and he knelt down with tears mixed with blood. The saint's formation is destroyed. Qin Feng is useless. Mo Fan teleported to block the whip, and the golden ring of the divine covenant cracked into black lines. The crane's hair was stained with blood, and he coughed up blood and flew backwards. The soul? Can't protect it. Shen Qingqing's jade face was pale. The golden light of the female fairy sword was dim. The magic whip struck the sword wing, and the scales were shattered 10 feet away, and the nascent soul meridians were rushing back. Despair in her heart was like an ice needle pricking. The white-collar workers who worked 9 to 5 in the past emerged. From the invincible queen to the devil's abyss waiting to be slaughtered. The buzzing of her blood was about to collapse. The group of people's sword light suddenly rose, breaking through the night and heading straight to the ghost city. The entrance to the deep black abyss of the cave bombed open. In the black mist, Han Xiao's thin face became demonic and distorted, and the green flames of his blood pupils burned wildly. The ancient golden coffin cracked completely. He swallowed the essence of the ghost emperor and his demonic body surged. He roared. Shen Qingqing, the final form of the demon cultivator. The duel with the immortal mansion. My ambition is immortal. A black gold demonic shadow slowly rose in the golden coffin. At this moment, Shen Qingqing's willow eyebrows stood up. Lung Ao's murderous intent exploded in her heart. She despised Han Mo's ambition as dust, and the peak of bloodline awakening hum was rekindled. The meridians of pure sword cultivation reshape violently. The golden coffin is summoned by chance. The jade finger seals the secret. The 5th level of the divine pact is finally activated. Mo Fanha's blood transmission says, the chosen female immortal, ascend the secret method to fuse the blood. The golden light of the immortal mansion shines in the center of the eyebrows. The female immortal sword bangs, and the 5 weapons are integrated to the limit. The spiritual light sword base, the yin and yang mirror reflection, the soul gathering bead mist blast, the soul bell soul pattern, the cave key divine lock, and the sword body. The scales of the sword-winged dragon suddenly grew hundreds of feet long. The golden light soared into the sky like the sun bursting into the abyss. The sword sea and the river hung upside down. The pure gold shadow turned into the phantom of a female fairy and soared into the sky, and the nascent soul skyrocketed and turned into a god in half a step. Han Xiao, devil cultivator ant, get out! Qingqing shouted, the female fairy sword swung out, and the sea of golden swords poured down like a river of stars in the sky, sweeping across the black abyss. The soul silk whip cracked and cut thousands of inches. Han Xiao's demonic body was incinerated, and the green flame blood pupils exploded. His thin face twisted and roared. Impossible! The female fairy sword can defeat the essence of my ghost emperor. Ambition. The black gold demon shadow assistant shattered into black smoke. The golden coffin exploded with a boom, and the heaven-defying treasure golden elixir flew out and merged into the body of the Qingqing sword. The sword energy slaughtered all the demonic energy. The abyss wall was filled with thousands of grooves, and the black mist was wiped out. The side effects exploded in the audience. Bai Ning spewed blood. His little body bounced up. His almond-shaped eyes stared at the master in ecstasy. Gu Ling's little face burst into tears, and her little hands hugged the jade waist and trembled. Master's female fairy sword is the ultimate. Ninger's jade slip is reorganized. The magic core soul thread is completely destroyed. Outweed the great success. From Ju seeing the heart bursting with admiration, she loves the invincible master forever. Her jade slips flew, the twin forbidden souls were locked, and the Korean core was accurately blasted. She screamed excitedly. The blood-red conspiracy is completely destroyed, and Ninger will always be the little fairy of the master. Qin Feng's broken staff was reorganized, and the ancient book was broken. The page was reborn with golden light. Hot tears fell on his knees and knocked on the stone ground. The ultimate formation of bone staff runes rekindled and protected the abyss. The saint's sword defeated the ghost emperor. Qin Feng's secret record completes the legend of the female immortal forever. From the soul flying to kowtow to die, the sword saint's ascension path is fully opened. Mo Fanhuffa reborn, the black robe teleported in front of the jade feet. The golden ring of the divine promise was perfectly injected into the center of the eyebrows. The crane's eyebrows smiled and shed tears of ecstasy. The heaven-chosen female immortal, the secret method of the divine appointment to ascension is complete. The treasure of the cave is the golden elixir melted into the sword. The Korean demons are reduced to ashes, the pattern of business war is permanent, and the Qing immortals unify the cultivation of immortals. The aftermath of the black abyss subsided, and heaven-defying opportunities appeared in the debris of the golden coffin. Ancient ascended jade slips floated in the air, golden light spewed from the spirit stone veins, and hundreds of secret treasures and magical artifacts in the cave were scattered. Shen Qingqing sheathed her sword in the air. Her golden light converged between her fingers, and she half-stepped into the form of a god to suppress the abyss. The achievements in her heart were like a volcano erupting. From an urban white-collar worker who strayed into a ghost town, to the present day, the female fairy sword mastered the cultivation of immortals. Han Xiao's demonic body was burned to death, and the remaining soul was extinguished. Before death, his bloody eyes were filled with despair. Fairy, her ambitions will never be quenched. She was dissipated in ashes. Demon Han Xiao shook the abyss with a smile. His blood pupil locks were clear, and he grabbed the black gold demon shadow with his thin claws to assist. The ghost emperor's shadow rose to the top of the coffin, and all the ghosts cried, "Fairy Ant! Kneel down and lick me, Demon Han, and give me the order of the immortal mansion, otherwise your soul will be ripped out, and all the disciples of the Chamber of Commerce will be reduced to ashes." The black abyss trembled. Rubble was like falling stones. Everyone's knees were weak and they were drowning in despair. With a faint smile on her face, the female fairy's sword intention was suppressed, and she led the sword lights out of the black abyss and returned to the main helm of the high-rise building in the city. The night has dissipated, the neon lights are back on. The green light on the blackboard has exceeded 100 billion. The fat heads of the 5 tribes are kneeling to greet them. Manager Li's fat tongue is licking the keys. The fairy is back to slay the demons. The former snobbish boss witnessed the queen's eternal control of half the city, kneeling and licking to atone for her sins. The fat Zen master's fat body bounced to his knees, and he shouted in ecstasy. The female fairy sword soared into the sky to destroy the demons. The sect has been wiped out. Seeing thousands of people paying their respects, the fat body is a slave. The black-robed female sorcerer's eyes lit up, and she licked her boots. The master is soaring, and the information from the sorcerer's army is pouring in, and the beauty is overwhelming. The thin Taoist priest with gray hair trembled and kowtowed, and the hundreds of new disciples shouted in unison. The Qingxian sect is growing stronger, and the pattern of cultivating immortals is unparalleled. Everyone was ecstatic, and Bai Ning jumped up and down. Master Ninger has sensed a new opportunity. The Jade Slip shows that the Jade Slip has ascended to a higher realm, and traveled through the ancient immortal realm. Qin Feng held up his hands and burst into tears. Saint, the secret record contains the inner door of the golden coffin, a shortcut to the immortal world. Mo Fanha smiled. Qingqing, the sixth level of the divine covenant has been revealed. The market value of the Chamber of Commerce is hundreds of billions. Hundreds of disciples can be expected to become gods, and the urban pattern will be reshaped. The hall cheered like thunder. Qingqing sat on the throne, and the nascent soul's golden light illuminated the whole place. Her thoughts surged. The ghost town's ghosts were destroyed, the business war was unified, the cave treasure was obtained. She grew from a mortal girl to a fairy, and she looked down upon the world with her invincible posture. Bai Ning leaned close to her waist and acted coquettishly. Master Ninger's love is invincible. The new jade slip flashes, summoning the immortal realm. Qin Feng's bone staff presented the treasure. The complete record of the secret method of ascension. Mo Fan nodded with his eyebrows. The chosen one, what's the next step to the immortal realm? Suddenly, the jade slips under the throne buzzed, new blood flashed red, and an ancient female voice transmitted the message. The female immortal is the successor. The inner door of the golden coffin is opened, the fairyland ghost city reappears, and the battle against the heavens is about to begin. Qingqing's willow eyebrows were raised slightly, the female immortal's sword trembled slightly, and everyone's spine shivered, and the worship enthusiasm became more intense. Bai Ning's almond-shaped eyes lit up. Master, new adventure?